Landon Robinson, and you're watching Bengals and Brews. Who they?
Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle, we unite and tripping orange and black and white. Who they when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who gotta move rockin' on? Now who wanna move crossing on? Now who wanna move out on? If you got stripes and you let the city know you rock 'em, yeah we got 'em, yeah we fought 'em. Like that black and orange up on 'em, bingo ball 'em, never stop it. To the beast of beast and on 'em. Who they rockin' with the diamond stripes, flossing on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen, we gon' show the world who king.
What's up, everybody? This is Ted Karras with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cincy hat, and you're watching Bengals and Brews.
Yeah, I could use Ted to sub in for me for about 10 minutes because I pushed mowed my yard right before. Got about
Dog days of summer, baby.
Fucking drenched.
Yeah. Remember high school athletics? And I mean, there might be high schools that still pull two-a-days. I feel like I've heard that. But you'd be out there all day. And the coaches wouldn't let you drink water. It's like unheard of for today, you know. You're too weak if you drink water. It's like you're out there at 90% humidity, 100 degrees in the middle of August.
Sober for now. Trust me, man. I just drank water. I got the brewski on standby.
Not there yet.
Gotta get there.
Not there yet, but will be later.
A lot to talk about. You know, they have practice Monday, Tuesday,
Yep.
off day Wednesday, practice yesterday, and there's still practice to come. So I believe that'll be this evening. Greg is down there in line because, you know, that's what Greg does, and he'll be the first one in line and stand there 3 hours before practice because that's what Greg does. And then Pork Chop's electric went out, which I know the feeling.
Then a tornado is going to hit down, and there will be no practice because not even inside or outside.
But yeah,
that's why I think like football season. Should we even start it in August, or should we push it back?
I don't know because you got your teams that are, you know, outside that aren't domed. So when you get into January or February, and the way they want to extend the season, I think it'd be harder to push it back anymore. Honestly.
Well, you know, college, you know, once they expand to probably 16 and then eventually 24, their seasons are going to last past the Super Bowl probably.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. If everybody had a dome, then you could push it back, you know, in the NFL, I feel like, and not worry about it at all. Those games are fun, don't get me wrong, like the outdoor games, but, you know, if you're getting freaking blizzards, you can't even play them, you know, or you would have to move. You know, take the home field advantage away from a team, that would suck.
Because I mean the weather for last year's playoffs was pretty miserable, at least on the AFC side.
Right.
Like that Denver New England game, how it was like clear, then a blizzard, and then clear again, and then it got like windy. It was just like, it's I'm a purist, you know, I like outside just probably like a lot of people. But there is a point in which, like, when you get that deep in the playoffs, you'd rather not have weather impact it. Now, if it's like the middle of October, November, December game, like, who cares really inside of a regular season? You have a lot on the line, you know, because it's kind of like, does Denver win that game? You know, like if it's, I mean, I know they're playing in their home, but there's sometimes like favorites, like, I don't know, depending upon how your team's constructed too, you know. So
Good day to everybody that's tapped in with us. We're just shooting the shit. We were talking right before the show started. Guards getting paid. Dustin said Peter Skoronski. I had missed that one. So another guy that got paid. Who is Osiris Torrance for the Bills?
Yeah.
Who, like, he's good, but like these guys are getting paid like tackle money paid.
I mean, that guard money, it's like you kind of like, we've seen the big running back contracts this week too. It's like our teams is there a trend there? Are teams reverting back to the good old days where like your running backs were the stars of the, I mean, is this signify something bigger, I should say? Or is
What's
it just
crazy is the ones the running backs that got paid are like the top of the market guys. So it really makes you question, like, where does a contract come in for Chase Brown, who's very good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, could have a huge monster season this year, but you're not touching Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson money, getting $25 million a year. Is his market 12, 15? Like what, because you ideally, if the Bengals were going to pay him, I would imagine they don't want to go above 10 or 12 per year. Like, I feel like that would be their max.
Yeah, because we kind of got burned on Joe Mixon's contract, because they had to eat a little bit of that. What did we get back, like a 6th or 7th round pick? So I think they'd be hesitant to go to the well. I know. I feel like what you're gonna see, and Pittsburgh has always done this for their running backs. Like they would just they're gonna get the rock a lot to Chase Brown this year. Yeah, and like I think he's gonna be an integral part, like he already has, of the offense. Obviously you've seen as we go through training camp observations, you've seen the write-ups about him playing receiver and things like that. So I think they're definitely going to feed him this year and get every last drop out of him before maybe he departs for more money somewhere else,
And if he has like 1,000 rushing, 1,000 receiving yards, in that pantheon of rare air, like Roger Craig, who's going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, was one of those, the first guy to ever do it. And it's like, if he does that this season, do you franchise tag him? What is because the franchise, I wonder what the franchise tag money for a running back is, because will it have these new contracts or will it go based on kind of the year before? Because, that'll be interesting too, because you're not going to franchise him if it's 25 million, but if you can franchise him and it's 14 and you get one more year to just run the legs off of him.
Yeah.
While you get somebody in the draft in here,
so they're saying,
go ahead.
They're saying it's going to be around 15,000. So projection
15 mil.
15 mil, yeah.
If it was 15,000, brother, I'd pay.
Or 15, I say 15,000.
He's getting that tag.
he's making target money. 15 million is the projection. So
and see, that's like if he had like 1,000, I would be like, I still have that in my back pocket.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be like, and that's what I'm saying. If he's wanting, I don't know, 14 million over three years, 15 million over 3 years, why not franchise tag him next year for 15 if he has a phenomenal season? If not, you're like, all right, we're moving on, or we get you at a cheaper value.
Yeah, because who would be tag? Because less teams are using the tag these days, right?
Yeah, and that's, we may not, but sometimes you put it as a placeholder to get a deal done. Even Mims isn't up yet, but you got Battle, you got all these guys, but Battle I don't feel like is a guy you're going to franchise tag. Miles Murphy, I don't think you're going to franchise tag, especially we're going to talk about Cassius Howe and the defensive line here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I want to get to Fuzzy Balls. We'll get to Chase Brown more because that was a note I had, moving him all around the contract.
Yeah.
And then also we'll just kind of go into the under center conversation as well after this, but I'll get this in first. My not so bold prediction, which from Fuzzy Balls, thank you for the super chat.
Thanks,
brother.
Fuzzy. Appreciate you, dog.
My not so bold prediction is that we will have a top 12 defense, all the one-score losses over the last 3 years. If we can just average 2 more defensive stops a game, those become double-digit wins. I love that prediction, and sign me up for a top 12 defense. The way and you can't get too excited in camp because every year the defense looks better than the offense, it feels like. But I'd be lying if I wasn't excited from what I'm seeing from the defensive line specifically, knowing that they invested in it. Top 15, top 12, sign me up. I think if you can do that, I think the offense will get figured out, and we're going to talk about the offense now. We'll get back to the defense. Yeah, Mims is going to get paid. They still got the 5th-year option on him too, so they got him for a couple more years, but his payday is certainly coming after the contract for the Bears right tackle.
I gotta maybe for the chat and Fuzzy. What if the defense ranks higher than the offense this year? Ooh, because at some point, like our offense is stacked and loaded, and we got Joe Burrow at quarterback, but you got to think like repeating the same performance every year on offense it's just very difficult to do.
And to be fair, you're a top offense because your defense is so bad. You're constantly chasing points and having to put up a bunch of yards and points late in games just to stay in it. If your defense is better, you slow the game down. You go more under center. You run the football. You're trying to drain clock because you have leads. You feel confident in a defense. So for sure, I like that, Dustin, because what if this defense is a top 10 defense and then the offensive numbers just slow down, right? They're not going to be as dynamic because they won't have to be. But that's great because you get in the playoffs, you still have those guys. You still have it at your disposal to get in a shootout if you need it.
Yeah.
I think it's very possible. I like that.
Yeah, and I think like an ideal game would be, and I like exciting football. I like offense. I like baseball when people hit home runs. Blah, blah,
like
blah.
that Hall of Fame game, baby. Wow,
dude. Hey, about that. That's one of the best Hall of Fame games I've ever watched.
Has to be the best.
Yeah.
Stamp. Period. Exclamation mark.
Yeah, both quarterbacks were slicing and dicing. I hope that's a sign for just like things to come for the NFL season. I'll take that.
That was fun. And I know they kept talking about it, and it's true. It was vanilla defenses, so you have to take the offensive performances with a grain of salt. But guys still have to go out there and perform. How many times do you see these like boring Hall of Fame games? No one's performing, and you had Carson Beck, Haynes King, even Kenny Pickett made some plays. You had all these guys making plays, and it was just a freaking awesome game to watch. Football is back. We even had a guy lay out a guy on a deep pass, and that guy got up. It was phenomenal. Yeah,
it was great. It was great to see football. And again, I mean, those the Hall of Fame game always like comes and goes. It kind of sneaks up on you sometimes. Kind of comes and goes. It was good to see the Cincinnati dude. Luke Kuechly nominated. Or voted in, and he's going to get his flowers. And then, I mean, why did it take Roger? Speaking of 1,000, Roger Craig, this long to get in the Hall of Fame is just a joke.
And Larry Fitzgerald, Drew Brees, all deserving. But man, I'm sitting there and I'm going, damn, Willie Anderson had that health scare, had to have, a surgery. It's like, to me, man, he was the greatest, right? We're talking about Darnell Wright getting paid, Mims getting paid. This guy paved the way for Lane Johnson, these guys at right tackle, in my opinion. He was on the precipice of, the right tackle becoming just as important as the left tackle, in his time with the high-flying offenses, Carson Palmer, Ocho Cinco, and just how good he was, pass protection, run blocking. And I'm like, get Willie in. It's hard for me, like, very deserving, happy for all the guys that got in. But I'm sorry, Adam Vinatieri, your ass could wait a year. Get Willie. Willie out for Adam Vinatieri.
Yeah, Adam, you did great things, but let's get football players. What I mean? Holy shit.
Fuzzy, this is a good point back to the offense and maybe where they rank. More 3 and outs could mean more offensive possessions. For sure, but you look at the defense, and hell, sometimes they were getting scored on in 3 plays or less. So the offense is getting a lot of possessions. But, I'm with you. It could go either way, right? And, hey, hopefully we're having the argument where it's even close that the defense could be in the conversation to be ranked alongside or with. Because, honestly, if you can just be top 12 in both, whether that's toward 12th, you're going to win a lot of fucking football games at that point.
Yeah, I always think. Remember what was the mixing game when we played the Carolina Panthers when he had
like 5 touchdowns?
Yeah, and it's just like I don't know. There's something about that offensive performance that kind of just like sticks out to me. Where like we weren't really like explosive that game necessarily, but we just moved the sticks and like picked up first downs, possessed the ball, and then our defense. I mean, Carolina was pretty terrible, but like our defense was doing their thing. So I don't know. It'd be nice to kind of like. I don't know. On the contrary, though, I guess, the Bengals are talking about being more explosive on offense, too. So it's kind of like possessive, but also like posing the threat of being explosive is super important. So you can get those safeties to not creep up in the box and keep them deep. So that way we continue to run with light boxes and just, get big plays when we need them. But for the most part, it'd be nice, and I know that's what the Bengals offense has been working on with under the center all training camp, but kind of start to evolve as how we win games. Those shootouts are fun, but like if we have a defense that can put the clamps down or get key stops, and we possess the ball, I think that's kind of the recipe. Although it kind of can sound boring. To win football games in the NFL.
Well, you want to be running clock late in the game because you got a 10-point lead, right? Like ideally that's what you want. You don't want to have to be high. You can be high flying earlier in the game. You get your lead and you want to have a defense that can maintain your lead, right?
Yeah.
During the game. Ronald, he asked, when do you think Mims moves to left side? I don't. I think they keep him at right. I think you still pay him. It's very important. You need both. Now, Orlando Brown, that was another talking point I had. He got ran over by Cassius Howe, but then there was another angle where it looks like he kind of got his feet tangled up with P-Rod.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think Orlando Brown is declining? Because we kind of talked about it last year. He's not getting any younger. I was surprised they gave him an extension, to be honest. I like Orlando Brown. It's hard to find average tackle play, so I think he's still capable of being an average tackle. But at some point, I am all for where you pick in the draft, but let's say Trevor Goosby's there. Jordan Seaton, I don't know because he's like 6'5", 302 right now. But Goosby at 6'7", 325. You can get maybe a left tackle with a future. I think you got to consider it. But what's your concern level for Orlando Brown, and do you think that Mims would move to left tackle at any point?
I think my concern level is kind of actually been the same with Orlando the whole time that he's been with the Bengals. It's just those athletic edges always seem to get him. Yeah, they just kind of blow past them. And I think you've seen other training camps where it's like Orlando has not really performed that well in the training camp. I think once we get out there on the field, to your point, I think we'll get average play out of them. Yeah. I do think, however, to your point, the Bengals are seeing the same thing that we are, and they're probably thinking the same thing. Like next year's draft, maybe the quarterbacks that are all going to be picked, blah, 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 are going to push some of the tackles down, in the draft, and we can pluck one. But I do think it's a area of need probably here pretty soon in our future. So,
yeah, and it'll just be interesting because are we going to, what do we see this year? But then if Chase Brown leaves, then are you back to square one where you're more of a passing team after he leaves? So it's going to be very interesting. But they are working a lot of under center. There's been a lot of struggles under center. I will say naked bootlegs. We seen last year when Jake Browning said no more nakeds. Like tired of getting killed on these, basically. And that's still a problem, man. I would just burn the naked bootlegs out of the playbook because they don't work for this team. Number one. But I think you're going to keep working under center, and it goes back to Chase Brown again, who we were already talking about. He's like his efficiency numbers are much, much higher under center, as probably every running back in the NFL compared to shotgun. So for me, I think they're going to lean into it more because we're going to see trying to have a more balanced offense. Are you worried about the struggles early in camp, or is this hey, you got to work it to get better at it and just keep at it?
Yeah, keep at it. You got to work it to get better at it. Anything that you're trying, anytime you're trying new stuff as an individual or as a team, as a collective, like you're going to have your challenges early on. So I think working on it in training camp, I think we'll find our footing in the mix between it. I could still see this being like 60% shotgun, 40%.
Oh, at least I could see even more than that because ultimately, if they're struggling once the season starts, a game or two in, Burrow's going to go back to what Burrow's most comfortable with, and he's going to. We know how much weight he holds, but I do think him getting to watch Flacco last year and see how efficient he could be and how much that could help overall, I think is something that he's willing to give it a shot for now. And we still got, several weeks before week one. So I'm not too concerned now, but it's been bad out there in the clips we've seen.
Yeah. And I think sometimes with defense too, like, let's be honest, like these guys are smart. They probably know what we're running on offense before, like, as we line up. It's like, each other that well. So, and there's no scheme. A lot of offense in the NFL is done based upon like scheming up plays and help protecting your O-line. I don't care how good of an O-line you have. Like, they're with some of these athletic defense linemen and speedsters and stuff, like you need a little help, that way. So I'm not like super concerned about it, but I think one of the big things when you look at the splits with Burrow, he's always not been one of the better play action quarterbacks, probably actually at the bottom of the list. So to your point, seeing Flacco last year and the opportunity for us to open so many more things within the play action, like under center game, it just does. Like my favorite offenses to watch are the Lions, the 49ers, and the Rams. Now the Rams recently have leaned into 12 personnel. You actually see Matthew Stafford lining up on under center quite a bit. And that play action passing game, I just think one of the things for quarterbacks your head's down, right? So you got to think Burrow's always had everything in front of him.
Yeah,
you know,
and he's talked about that too. I
Yeah.
think that's the biggest thing for him.
Yeah. So he's gonna have to get comfortable with your eyes not being like you gotta carry out with the fake to the running back or wherever jet sweep it can be. And then you got to quickly get your eyes dialed in on your targets. Now, a lot of play action passing games, you're probably only going to get through a couple reads. A lot of times, you might have an outlet like a swing pass, but so I think it's just a new world in which he's probably played in his entire just like career. I think if you look at his high school tape, he was probably running like 5 wide and shotgun and stuff like that. So hopefully he can continue to get better at that and evolve and grow. And I do like the capabilities of going under center. So yeah, I'm excited to see how they work on that in the preseason, how that kind of evolves as the season goes along.
And when you have so much continuity on your offense, you know you can always go back to the shotgun more and more because you've got the same receivers, the same quarterback. Now there is a receiver making a push, but we'll save that for a little bit. Let's flip over to the defense because we talked a lot about offense, under center, Chase Brown, stuff like that, Orlando Brown to start the show. The defensive line is dominating early in training camp. Mafe, I know it was like, oh, he's dropping back. Well, this week he is flying around, getting after the quarterback and just making life difficult for Burrow and anybody else. Dexter Lawrence, he had a veteran day. They're giving these guys rest here and there too, which perfectly fine with. But when he's in there, he looks like a havoc creator nonstop. Miles Murphy, seeing him flash. Jonathan Allen, seeing him flash. I think with the number 2s, Landon Robinson was even in there at one point, and it looked like held up well against the double team. So, but the guy who's really, really impressing, second-round pick, Cassius Howe, and you know me, I'm all aboard that hype train, baby. I've been on that hype train. Welcome aboard, all the new Cassius Howe hype train lovers.
Hey, play our podcast during the draft. We were like, what if we draft Cassius Howe here? And then we did. Then it was awesome. And we're seeing the reason why. That explosiveness, his ability to use his hands, and just kind of that like speed to power is like, you get those big ass offensive tackles worried about the speed coming off the edge, and they kind of lose balance because they're big boys. And then he just gets into their chests because he uses his hands pretty well. That's a recipe to be an offensive tackle's nightmare, and him being in the backfield causing havoc quite a bit. Yeah,
it is because he's got that bend, that flexibility. He's got so many moves, spin move, the ghost move, just all these moves that you got to be worried about. But then he can just bring that power into your chest. He doesn't have the longest arms, but you're so worried about his speed and bend around the edge, beating you around the corner. He can just come with straight power. Put you on your ass. Like he is so exciting, and he's such a different element. Mafe gives you some of that, but he's another level. Like I said, when have we ever had a guy like that? Someone said Carl Lawson's rookie year, maybe a little bit, but his bend and explosiveness is just so far outside of the normal Bengals body type. I can't remember a player quite like that.
No, me neither. And because Carlos Dunlap was big, kind of lengthy.
Yeah, he was athletic. Like he was both. He was a little bit of both and batted down a lot of passes. But it's not this. I'm sorry. When you're 6'6", you don't have the same bend. This guy's 6'2".
Yeah. One of the things to note on Cassius is he's like a small guy playing in a big body, because when he was at Bowling Green, he was like weighing like 220, 230 before he transferred. So he's still probably developing and kind of leaning into his like new frame that he's had over the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, he was listed around like 255 this season, which is he does not move and play like a guy that's 255. But you love the fact he's 255.
Yeah, exactly, and that's pretty clear. That this is going to be a heavy 3-4 defense, which is really exciting because you can dial up so many different types of matches. Like Dexter Lawrence is what enables you to do that. Jonathan Allen, they even talked about some of the notes from one of the practices. Maybe it was the last one they had Miles Murphy even lining up over to the center too. So that's exciting to see all these different wrinkles. Now
you can have 5 guys at the line in that 3-4. And I think when everyone's healthy, a hell of a NASCAR type package, Dexter at the nose, flanking him as your 3-4 ends, Murphy and Stewart with their size. and then Mafe and Howe coming off of each side. Woo! On a third and long, give me that. And, you might drop one, but you might bring all 5.
Yeah.
That is a nasty.
Yeah, because you're getting you're being able to ISO a lot of players. Like, let's say, like you said, the NASCAR package, and you drop, I don't know what the lineup would be, but like you get Jonathan Allen matched up on a guard. Like, I kind of feel good that Jonathan Allen, like, one-on-one would win that battle a lot of times. So I just think through this defense, you can give yourself more favorable matchups. Now, the flip side, running a 3-4, you do have to have the types of players to be able to present like dropping coverage and be able to cover some areas, because then the defense just becomes like a 4-3, honestly, like if they can't do that. So I think with the guys that we brought in with Mafe and Cassius Howe, like, I think that's, maybe some of the freak out early in camp when they were giving those guys some reps to kind of practice that. To be able to run a successful 3-4, you got to have that, cover some ground. But yeah, I think we got the right players. And this has probably been out Golden's vision the whole time. I can't remember in Notre Dame if they ran a lot of 3-4 there or not. I thought he was more of a traditional 4-3, but
yeah, feels like, but you got to have the guys too, and I don't. And the guys that they have now, I think the Kingston Viliama-Asas and guys like that were probably recruited before he left. They definitely were, actually. So like those guys, they've got a lot of those guys this year. He's got both. They've got like Bryce Young, who's that Shamar Stewart body type, Miles Murphy body type.
Mm-hmm.
Then they got Viliama-Asa, who can come off the edge. They've got I'm blanking on. There's another kid too. That's a linebacker, but blitzes a lot.
Yeah,
they had Notre Dame fans in here. They probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
he's a 5-star recruit. He's going into like his 4th year. But Fuzzy with another super chat. Cassius Howe made everyone forget about Shamar Stewart at Texas A&M. History is repeating itself. Yeah, I mean, he was certainly much more productive at Texas A&M, and he was more productive even kind of playing behind Scourton and Stewart. He still had 4.5 sacks or whatever when he was getting less snaps than those guys. Then this past year, obviously, 12.5 sacks, whatever he had, just a complete menace. Yeah. And his arrow is pointing up, and he is a guy I feel is comfortable dropping in coverage. I've seen him drop in coverage and look pretty damn good. So
yeah,
I like that about him. I feel a little more comfortable with him than Mafe. Not saying Mafe can't do it, but I've watched Hal do it more recently.
Yeah, the versatility, and he's lined up on both sides too, which has been exciting because you got to see him go up against Mims and Orlando Brown, and obviously Zach commenting after practice, they wanted to get him in with the 1, so he was going against some of our starting O line. So definitely arrow pointing up from that regard. I would say, Fuzzy, yeah, you're right. The only difference is with Shamar was actually on the field with Texas A&M. Like, he just can't all of a sudden. He comes to Cincinnati and he can't stay healthy. It's like insane. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to kind of like. This is another year of like lost development. And, anytime you're coming back from a knee injury too, which it wasn't as bad as we probably all originally thought with the hyper extension, but it just kind of takes a while and you got to nurse it back. And at that point, Dale, like if all of our guys are firing on all cylinders, like were you even using him? Like,
yeah, like his snap, you're talking about snaps because I think with a guy like Hal, if he gets the snaps, he could lead this team in sacks. If he's getting 50% or higher, I think he can lead this team in sacks. I really do. And it depends how they deploy him and who they deploy. But the person who snaps I would eat into for him to do that is going to be Stewart. And I do feel like if he's behind, they don't feel like he's ready. Maybe he doesn't play the first week or two. They slowly bring him back in. He's the one now fighting to get back in there, whereas Hal right now is firing on all cylinders, like you're saying. I'm playing him. I'm playing him, Mafe, these guys that have been out there at practice showing everything to get after the quarterback now. I don't see it stopping.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, I guess they could carve out a specific rule. I mean, I do think, I liked like when Shamar was like lined up as more of kind of that 3 tech. last year. Kind of a
That's why I
correction
think he
there
could
for
be,
the site.
he might rotate with Jonathan Allen and BJ Hill at the,
Right.
if they're running more of the 3-4, he might see more snaps there than anywhere
Right.
else as they rotate
Yeah.
him in.
Yeah, that's why I don't even in a weird way, I don't even like put him in the defensive end room. And because I kind of feel like he's going to be more interior like this year because it is the 3-4 to your point. So, but at the same time, like one thing we're even forgetting about, BJ Hill hasn't even been out there yet.
No,
so,
no, that's
like,
what's so exciting. Like, there's
Yeah.
not been a BJ Hill. Different days, Allen's not out there, Lawrence isn't out there, and the defense is still flying around, especially defensive line, which has opened the linebackers up, and they've made some plays. We've seen some interceptions. We've seen the linebackers looking solid, right? We won't know because their missed tackle rates was really high. Something they're working on was tackling drills, but there's not going to be any live tackling. We won't know. We'll see them a little bit in preseason action, but till week 1, I still feel like the jury's out on the linebackers. Have you seen enough to get excited about them in year 2, or are you still a little worried?
it kind of seems like they just know what they're doing a little bit better, right? Like the impression that I get. I mean, obviously both these guys have athleticism, and they're drafted for a reason. But yeah, it's linebacker play, and I mean generally probably defense is when the real bullets are flying. You got to get guys to the ground, and then you're playing these offensive schemes that are very advanced. Like Tampa, like the first game of the season, they like to roll some stuff out that's pretty unique. So like it's one of those things like you gotta. I mean, we only have training camp to go by, so I do like the progress that I've seen. I think from all the snaps they had last year, like it feels like they just have they're in the right spots. But again, like coming into the season, you just kind of want to see it in the regular season so we can trust what we're seeing in training camp. So do be determined on that. I still feel like despite that, like having a defense line that's disruptive like we're going to, I feel very confident our defense line is going to carry this performance because we just got dudes up there, that I kind of feel like even if they're average linebackers, like we're still going to be okay on defense.
Yeah, I feel like that's all you need. We haven't,
and
to be honest, we haven't had really average, barely average play from Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt, like their last years here. They were struggling, So these guys at least are young, fresher legs, year 2, a lot of production, a lot of experience as rookies. That at least gives you some hope. Now we'll see.
Yeah.
I think it was Troy Anderson or something. It was a second-round pick in 2022. He got cut by the Falcons. He's dealt with a lot of injuries. Would you be interested in maybe them putting?
I would. I liked him. The injury thing, is obviously a concern, but when he's been out there, he's been pretty productive. So I definitely take a look at him.
And they have a spot, right? Because they cut Isaiah Mwakobia.
Yeah.
So they have a spot on the 90-man right now. Bring a guy.
Yeah, what's up with that with Isaiah? We were kind of like high on him, and then it was this weird thing where then he signed, like we thought they signed the contract with them, and then they didn't, and then he was the first one cut, so that was that was interesting. But
very odd, but yeah, maybe just never fully healthy or wasn't picking up the playbook. It could be a lot of things, but yeah, I wish him the best.
Is he the Legend Bay of the Cincinnati Bengals?
Legend Bay. Hopefully he gets to practice tomorrow.
God damn. Like, what's up with that?
Right away, 2 days practice, team violation. I heard it was nothing serious, but
yeah. It's been a weird one with him because that recruitment was strange.
Yeah.
And then the spring, they switched his.
Well, look at Chaz Coleman, who transferred from Penn State to Tennessee, and now he's not with the team. Like, there's some weird shit. There was a Miami kid, 5-star recruit that was going to go to USC, went to Miami. He's not with the team. Like, there's some weird shit going on in college football.
Chaz Coleman's from Columbus area too, I believe, right?
People thought the Buckeyes would get him, and they were and he chose Tennessee and just wasn't showing up, basically.
Yeah. It's like, thank you for the money. I don't think I'll show up now.
Weird, man. Some of it's weird. We'll flip back to the offense. We'll go back to defense, talk secondary and some other guys here, but flipping around a little bit. Big story of camp. A guy who, the off-field stuff worried me. Like, we took him at the very, very end of the 4th round, Colby Young. The off-field stuff doesn't seem to be a concern. High praise from Dylan Fairchild, all those guys. We can only judge on what we know. And he's out there, and he's well-spoken in interviews. And he is fucking balling out on the football field. So, I have nothing to go on that off-field stuff. Somebody privy to stuff that I'm not, okay? But we're going to talk about this guy as a football player. And he looks like a guy that could take some snaps from Yoshibach. So, catches through contact, high pointing the football, big plays down the field. He's done it all this week. Like, this has been the Colby Young show this week at training camp, I feel like.
Yep.
Absolutely balling out. And then Yoshi had his best day of practice yesterday, but he still had 2 drops. He had a drop in one-on-ones. He had a drop over the middle, just a concentration drop. And it's like, man, he had a diving catch. So it's like he had some good plays. Don't get me wrong. But then it's like those drops will kill you. He had a 13% drop rate last year. You can't have it. And he had drops in big moments. Yeah. Colby Young looks really good. He's big. He's fast. He's physical. He will catch the ball through contact. Do you think he has a chance to supplant Yoshibach or just start taking snaps at some point? I don't think it'll be right away, but I think at some point, man. And Burrow's throwing him the ball a little bit, now. And it's like, if Burrow sees you making plays, you're going to get more opportunities with Burrow.
Yep.
Take advantage of him. I think he can work his way in there.
Yeah. I can see him being Burrow's one of his best friends. Like, when you have a big target like that, like he's really good at setting up his routes. Like, he's actually a pretty decent route runner too. But yeah, I do. I just think it does get to the point, because I don't remember Yoshi his rookie season having the dropsies, and now it's like all of a sudden he's dropping the ball all over, and he's still making plays, but things just kind of look hard for him. Whereas Colby Young, it kind of just seems like he's so natural at being a receiver, for a lack of a better analysis. It's just
you get in your head with those drops, man.
Yeah, you do.
Chase in the preseason his rookie year, but then it was when the season started, boom, I'm still Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
So he still has drops every now and again. Don't get me wrong. Chase does. It's like, what? But he'll catch 60 passes in a game and have 1 drop.
Yeah. He had a couple where he double caught last year too. I think there was one in the Pittsburgh game where it's if he would have just caught it clean, he probably would have got another 15 yards. But I do think it will be kind of one of those things where maybe we slowly start to see him working in. It'll be interesting to see preseason, because at that point he's not. I mean, does he come out with starters if we do play that little bit? I don't know what that mix would be like, because I know they're going to probably try to give Yoshi every opportunity in preseason to make plays and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting.
But you'll see Yoshi a lot of these years. He doesn't play a lot. He does.
Yeah.
He's he's like Jason Higgins. He'll get a series or 2 and they shut him down.
Yeah.
I kind of hope that's not the case. I want to see him out there competing along with Colby Young. Colby Young is definitely going to play a lot in preseason, I feel like.
Yeah.
They're going to give him opportunities to show it and look better and better. And that's how Mitch Tinsley earned a spot, was preseason games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, practices too, but preseason games was like, oh, shit, we can't cut this guy last season.
Yeah, he built a little bit of rapport with Burrow, because Burrow commented on Tinsley last year in training camp too. But yeah, when you see Burrow potentially going to somebody, that just kind of speaks volumes, right? It's just because Burrow is going to spread the ball around. He's going to give it to, if you're open, you're going to get it. The more you get trust too. And there was a lot of games last year, and maybe Yoshi wasn't open, but it just didn't even feel like Burrow looked his way. So I do think that's a competition worth eyeing through the rest of training camp and preseason. And as we roll into the season, I very much do think Colby Young's going to get a lot of snaps.
If he's doing what he's doing now, if he continues to show it, continues to not be at a casino like a former draft pick, mid-round draft pick, shows up to practices hard, makes plays, he's going to get it. He's going to get opportunities at some point this season, because injuries happen, this, that, and the other. But you're gonna at times go 4 wide, 5 wide. Gesicki might be one of those, but He'll get some snaps, and what he shows and how he performs through the preseason, how he's practicing, that'll continue to grow those snaps. But they drafted him for a reason, right? We were all like, oh, that seems early and the off field. And it's like, man, he's showing why the Bengals had faith in taking him at the end of the 4th round and looking like a smart decision right now. Want to see it when live bullets start flying. But, man, I mean, he is making catches through contact, diving, making catches, high pointing over guys. Like, he looks really, really good.
And, the Bengals with the receiver, we've always had kind of that, like, chain mover, like Mohamed Sanu, TJ Hushmanzada. I can see Colby Young being something like that, where it's that in between down a distance. Let's say it's like 33 and 4, maybe a little too long to run, but then he's got like a kind of a smaller slot corner on him, and you can just body that. You can just box that dude out on like a slant, kind of thing. So I would look for him to kind of like carve out a role that way too. And then I'm just dreaming of the slot fade, like throw the slot fade up because that's such a hard route to defend, and just like kind of tossing it up from like the 20 when we're in the red zone and letting him go up and get it too, because he is massive. He has
he's 6'4", almost 6'5". Like this guy's big. He can jump. He's got the vertical. Jungle Jerry asked, how much is Flacco playing in the preseason? Is it worth losing him due to some bad O-line? Yeah, because he'd be playing with the backup O-line.
I don't.
He'll play. I think he'll play quite a bit. Sean Clifford missed a practice the other day, but they have Josh Johnson, so you'll probably see a lot of Josh Johnson. You're still going to see some Flacco. He's going to be out there at times, but I don't need to see a lot of Flacco personally.
No,
I would almost treat him like Burrow. Oh, you get a series or two. I got Josh Johnson, Sean Clifford. You guys are playing a lot.
Yeah, because you see a lot of veteran quarterbacks that are on teams that have been around for a while. Maybe not as long as Flacco, but you'll notice like in preseason they don't even like play a lot. So if he does play, I think it's like a series or two.
I was thinking the exact same thing though. Yeah. You want to see Colby Young and guys make plays. Dante Myers. If you got a Josh Johnson, you got a Sean Clifford. I know Josh Johnson's been around a while, but still, I would never say he's like the greatest, most accurate passer. So you may see him in there a little bit more, a quarter each game or something for Flacco. But, man, I don't want to lose Flacco in a meaningless preseason game either.
Yeah, I do.
He's old. He's an old dude, and you know that, but you know what he can do. You brought him in and what he did, so I don't need to see him.
He might be like, I'm good on playing preseason, Coach Taylor.
Actually, maybe the receivers need a Josh Johnson and Sean Clifford throwing in the ball. Now impress me with these guys at quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you could do it with
right.
I mean, Josh Johnson's been in the league he's played for like every NFL team. So, but I guess like Sean Clifford, like and Josh Johnson, they're gonna probably be taking. I mean, I do like to hear that Burrow's playing. I do think there's some things to iron out on offense. So if we do play, I don't know how many series, but with the starters playing, it would be nice to continue to try to deploy that under center game. So I do think the comment there from Houday, Joe Burrow should play, and he is, and I also
everybody's gonna play at least a little bit. It sounds like so.
Yeah. I don't think T's really into playing. I don't even know if T's into practicing, to be honest.
I don't
think he's. I don't know. There's some players that just like not like T's lit it up in practices too, like no doubt. But there are some players that's like, man, practice. It's like they're not doing anything, and the lights come on, and they're making plays all over the place.
So a couple more things with the offense before we flip back to the defense. Your guy Dante Myers is impressing. He's going to have to beat out Tinsley, I would say, for a roster spot, which I think is doable. We haven't heard too much from Tinsley. He had a nice catch in the end zone, but he was okay last year, but not great when he got his opportunities. So that'll be interesting. And then I thought it was a quiet week for the tight ends. Oh, all of them, like Eric All, like Gesicki the first week, you were seeing a little bit of him. You were seeing some Eric All. It just felt like this week you didn't see a lot of, at least on Twitter, right? I wasn't down there at camp, but I didn't see much from tight ends. How about you from this past week?
No. And It sounds like the run game has done well. Like they're getting downhill. Like Dan Pitcher had commented on, like they like what they've seen from the run game. So you gotta assume Eric Hall is a part of that. You know, some of the tight ends, but has definitely been quiet from like a receiving standpoint. So, and I don't know. It's again practice. It's hard to know what they're exactly working on. You know, out of this like under center, like you would think. You know, it looked like on a few of the rollouts, Joe was trying to target a tight end on that, and those plays have just suck for us and continue to. I don't know what it is. It's just like we can't get that right. I don't know if they're not teaching it the right way or what the hell's going on. But I would like to see as training camp moves on, those guys start to make a little bit more plays. Like I'd like to see Eric All catch like a seam route or something like that. You know, yeah. So that's been a little. I guess something to keep an eye on. That's a good point because I didn't think about it until you said something, but it's definitely got me thinking. And something I want to keep an eye on is the production for the tight ends through training camp and preseason.
Yep. Yeah, because you know me, I'm looking at my guy Jack Andrews, right, and I'm like, can I see anything about this guy? So I'm hoping at least when Light Bullets start this coming Thursday. You know, we're less than a week away from the first preseason game. That I'll see my guy Andrews making some plays, hopefully, because I want to keep him on this roster.
Yeah, we were so excited about Tanner McLaughlin too. It's like, oh, I hope this is not like.
Yeah, but I still have McLaughlin more of a fifth, sixth round guy, and I had Andrews a lot higher. I think I don't know. I like him a lot more than I like.
Yeah. Him. It was crazy that Daniel Jeremiah had McLaughlin as his number one.
Yeah, he had him in his top 100, and that was I think that was a big part of everybody being super hyped on him. And
he didn't do shit. Yeah.
Hey, I did not love the Colby Young pick because of the off-field stuff, and I didn't really watch his tape because I knew there was off-field stuff. I knew there was injuries, so all I can do is be like, hey, so far I'm wrong on that guy. You know what I mean? Yeah, he looked great. Like, well, I want him to succeed. He's a Bengal now. I do feel like some people are like, oh, I hated Shamar Stewart pick, so now I have to hate Shamar. I want Shamar Stewart to succeed. He's a Bengal now, so I do feel like that's.
He's one of us. He's one of us. He's a Bengal. Like, but yeah, one of the things that stood out to me after the draft when Dan Pitcher was like, Colby Young's an NFL wide receiver, and now you're kind of seeing it. Like he's very polished. I feel like for not having played a lot on the field because of injury. Like you can kind of those words echo with me now because you can kind of see it on the practice field. Like that route against Newton was pretty nasty against Fig. Turned him into an actual Fig Newton.
Yeah, and that's one of the next things I have in my notes here. I think Tacario Davis is flashing, and that's been good to see because I think he's going to play at some point. Especially Dax Hill has been dinged up a lot already in camp. Tacario Davis to me would be that next guy in on the outside, but the guy who's getting snaps is DJ Ivey with the ones when Dax Hill's been dinged up and things like that. And he's holding his own out there, and I like that because Ivey's always been one of those guys to me. Yeah, late 7th round pick, whatever, but he's always kind of flashed when he's played. Yeah. I feel like last season I don't remember him doing too much, but especially as when he came in late in the season as a rookie off the injury, I thought he did good. He's just a guy who kind of excites me, and it sounds like Josh Newton's in the doghouse. And also, if DJ Ivey is getting run with the ones when Dax Hill isn't in, there is a good chance Josh Newton is not on this football, maybe practice squad. But it sounded like DJ Ivey because you got Davis, you got Tacario Davis, Jalen Davis, you got Jasir Taylor as probably your backup slot. Yeah, if they keep 6. It kind of feels like Newton's the first guy out. Would you say? I
would say so. I just kind of sometimes you just got to see and you just say a player just doesn't have it. I was actually one of the first, I was excited about Fig Newton pick. There were some people I know Will Blackman, who was a DB in the NFL for a long time. Yeah. Like he thought he was one of the better Big 12 defensive backs. Like he thought
he's very feisty and physical and competitive, and you love those things about his game. But one of the bigger knocks was he's not the most athletic. He doesn't have the greatest speed, and speed for a corner really does seem like it matters, right? Especially with the Bengals. Like you had DJ Turner, who was a 4.26, Dax Hill a 4.3, Tacario Davis, now a 4.4. I wouldn't say DJ Ivy's the fastest guy, but his length kind of makes up for it. When you're Josh Newton, you don't have the length and size, and then you also don't have the speed. No matter how competitive and tough and physical you are, it's a little tougher for a guy like that to make it at corner.
I agree. I think that's where we're at with him. That kind of leaves the depth at corner is like a little I like some of those guys, but a little hairy. Like maybe that's something we're going to be watching the waiver wires as training camp goes down to cut days, because I could see the Bengals.
Well, it really depends on DJ Ivy, right? Like your thoughts on DJ Ivy and the combination at slot corner of Jasir Taylor and Jalen Davis.
Yeah, I mean, I've liked what I've seen, the feistiness from Jalen Davis. I probably haven't heard as much about him since that first week, but I'm kind of fine on Jalen Davis. I think he's earned it, and he made some nice plays when he was starting last year. Like I think that Miami interception where he got his head around, that was excellent teach tape. But
you don't want that guy matched up on tight ends and things like that. But it's similar with Mike Hilton, right? You like Mike Hilton up, very physical. Like you could blitz him, you could do a lot of things with him.
Yeah,
that I think is where Jalen Davis does pretty well. Having him, I would much rather see even Bobo in there, Tacario Davis, or DJ Ivy, these guys matched up. And we haven't seen a lot about Duggar either at safety, who we thought could play some slot. So that's an interesting guy.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, but going back to DJ Ivy, he was the tight end stopper and lose last year here. And he was always a guy that from a projection standpoint, when we drafted him, he's he's got some more room to go in terms of a ceiling. So with his length, and I think he plays a pretty sound technique. I'm excited to see him play for sure, to see how that turns out. So I think there's an opportunity there. I think Jasir Taylor will definitely be there. He can contribute on special teams too. So, he's going to stick around for sure.
Yeah, and that's the roster spots, aren't if Ivy makes it and then Newton's not making it. I don't know if it really depends how they feel about Ivy, to me.
Yeah,
or if Dax Hill I would shut Dax down for a couple weeks because he keeps being hobbled every time that he comes out there, and I don't like that.
Yeah, and I just really haven't heard much from the other guys like Braylon Lux, or anything like that. So I don't know. We'll see how this kind of goes.
Guys like that can flash in preseason too.
Yeah, can flash in preseason. PJ Jules was a guy. We're talking more safety now, but really haven't heard much from him.
Yeah, him or Dejan. That last safety spot is still But is that you're not hearing anything because they're not doing anything bad? Also, that's a good thing.
Yeah. I guess if the defense line is constantly just wrecking shit, the play doesn't even get to you either. It's
well, they're not getting super burnt and 11-on-11s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So to me, that can be a good thing too. But it's kind of you want those flash plays, and that's what's you hadn't heard much about Brian Cook until Tuesday when he had that interception, would have taken
nice
to the house off of Burrow, and then banter with Jamar in the locker room. When have you caught a deep pass? Talking shit to Jamar. Who started it? Jamar started with the shit talking. Just throw it over top of him. So I love that. Confident leader on the back end of that defense and a good player and very physical and a good tackler, especially in comparison to Geno Stone, who had 18% missed tackle rate.
Yeah, and I can see the Bengals using him in the box some this year too, maybe more than Kansas City. It's going to be fun to see the combo of Battle and Duggar, because I think they can do they're almost interchangeable parts, and I just think the theme of this defense is going to be versatility. A lot of guys are going to do a lot of different stuff to keep defenses on their toes, and a lot of times that can help protect your corners too. You're causing disruption up front. Maybe if Dax Hill's nursing something, you're going to get by with a DJ Ivy being your outside corner for a couple of games, that sort of thing. So as long as
I think Tacario Davis is the first. To me, the way he's playing right now, Tacario could be the guy that comes in at outside corner.
Oh yeah,
if you needed it for a game or two.
Yeah.
But DJ's played good, so you want to have that depth, you know.
Yeah. I do think they're going to immediately probably deploy Decario Davis, Bobo, like right away on tight ends too. You know, so
they should.
Good test will be week 2. I can't think of his name now, but what's the Titans or the Texans tight end? Forgetting his name.
Dalton Schultz.
Yeah, Dalton Schultz. Like he's always like kind of a blanket for CJ Stroud. So maybe we'll be seeing a lot of him that game.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I have not bought the new Madden Crypt, so you'd have to tell me. I barely played the college football that I won on a Twitter contest.
Ronald was saying Duggar made Gesicki look bad yesterday. So that, I mean, it's a good sign, you know. Like we haven't heard from Duggar a lot.
But I will also say a guy like Duggar and Brian Cook too. They're so physical, like and they're tackling. And when you're not doing live tackling, it's probably a little harder for these guys to stand out.
Yeah. I mean, this is still training camp, and we're only seeing like X amount of plays through Twitter, and like we're not seeing everything, and then we're going off of like what's being reported and maybe like people that are observing training camp. But you know, like I think a lot of this stuff will work its way out or work its way as the season goes on. Like, you know, with every season, like your players start to kind of find roles. I always think of Akeem Davis Gaither, like he was like the Lamar Jackson, like hunter, like the spy, how he just kind of carved out that role for himself. So I think there's going to be certain guys like Bobo, Duggar that like carve out certain roles for themselves as the season goes on. So that's going to be kind of excited to see that evolution as we go throughout the year.
And we have a game coming up Thursday at home against Detroit. So first preseason game before our next show next Friday. So we'll kind of talk about who we're looking forward to seeing at each position. The starters will play some, Zach Taylor said. But before that, how's the move going?
Oh, we made it. We're in Columbus, baby. It's all done.
So you're moved and you're in Columbus now?
Yeah, I'm at my mom's right now because my place is still getting furnished, you know, all that stuff. But yeah, back in Columbus, man. Gonna be coming to more games. Excited to be home. Been away since 2010, you know, so it's good to be back home. You know, just wanted to get back around family and, you know, hang out family more. And then obviously like a lover of football. There's not a better place in the world to be than Ohio in the fall. I'm so excited.
Yeah, are you going to be going to some Buckeye games?
Yeah, for sure.
See, Fuzzy here is shit talking with his $5 super chat. CJ Stroud is the most successful OSU Buckeye quarterback ever in the NFL.
Will Howard hasn't had a chance to play yet.
They've been. What about Joe Burrow? Okay, Joe Burrow. We're claiming Joe Burrow again.
I don't know what that is, man. It's almost like, statistically speaking, what's the hit rate on any college quarterback from any college? You know, it's like, what team would you say are producing the best NFL quarterbacks?
Yeah, I mean, Josh Allen came from what? Wyoming,
yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, Texas Tech. It's not like that's a powerhouse. Lamar from Louisville, like, bro, LSU. It is weird, you know. Matt Stafford was at Georgia, but I wouldn't say Georgia's been putting a lot of guys. You know, they've had Stetson Bennett, and now they have Gunnar Stockton. I mean, Carson Beck was there a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to think. Like,
and Stafford's Georgia, but that's like 3 coaches ago too. Can you do you even count that? You know,
right?
It's like
Tom Brady was Michigan, and he wasn't even always the starter.
Yeah, Drew Henson was like took his job, right? Or was it the other way around? I kind of forget what happened.
Bryce Young and Tua from Bama, but it's like, is that really AJ McCarron? And then, who's the other guy? It's a backup with the Niners.
Oh, Mac Jones.
Yeah, Brock Purdy, Iowa State. Like, there's not a school that's just like constantly churning out quarterbacks in the NFL. I think Miami is, you know, you had Cam Ward and then Carson Beck for his last season. Now Darian Mensah, like, they could start to have some guys, but no, it doesn't feel like anyone's consistently putting dudes in the league that are just year in, year out.
Yeah, I mean, it's
that's that are good. Yeah, and that's the thing. There's not that many really good quarterbacks either.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, because, Drew Mestamaker in a couple years, because he's going to be a sophomore, he's at Oklahoma State now. Like, might be the best quarterback coming out of that draft.
My God, if you're talking Jim Kelly, if we're going all the way back to Jim Kelly, Fuzzy, what are we doing?
I should say,
I would say Ohio State needs to have a guy at some point be really good in the NFL.
I guess we got to play.
There.
We got to say Oklahoma probably because Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts. In terms of like success, hit or miss.
Yeah, for to have three guys that are at least probably starters this year because I think Kyler will start in Minnesota over the Michigan quarterback.
Yeah,
McCarthy.
Jim Kelly. Yeah, it will be funny if Miami ends up having the most quarterbacks. I guess Oregon, Justin Herbert, Bo Nix. I mean, LSU, Joe.
Yeah, and then they'll have Dante Moore. Like Arch coming from Texas, but they had Quinn Ewers, who doesn't seem like he's going to be a dude. Vince Young back in the day. Matt Leinart, who didn't have a great career at USC. I'm just trying to think, like, there's really not one school that just stands out that, like, oh, I get a dude from here.
Yeah, it's just that trans because like Quinn Ewers might have been one of the most highly scrutinized, like followed recruits, and his college career was under a microscope too.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden it's like he could have stayed for another year and went to the NFL and drafted 6th round, and you may never see him on the field again. I don't know, like it's just.
Yeah, that coach is at USC now from Oklahoma. And so Jada Mayava, can he be a guy, But the other guys they've had, I mean, Keaton Slovis, he played there as a freshman, then transferred to Pitt. He was playing some in that Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know, man. There's not one school that really, really stands out, honestly.
Well, one of Ohio State's quarterbacks are dead, so we shouldn't count that, Yeah, so it's like – but he wasn't playing well either.
Well, Justin Fields was the one that, seemed like could be a dude. Like he had the arm, the mobility. Just didn't work out.
No.
Caleb Williams also Oklahoma/USC for the USC, So he was kind of with that coach. So that coach, I mean, you would have to think, Oklahoma, now USC. But we'll see what Jada Mayava is, for that argument. I like Mayava.
I like Mayava a lot. Yeah, I think he's like secretly someone's gonna get a steal with him. Like he'll
and then like Lane Kiffin,
Yeah,
but it's just Jackson Dart basically right now, right?
Jackson Dart would be it.
And then Chambliss, if he becomes something, and now he's gonna have the Arizona State Sam Leavitt.
Yeah. Levitt can stay healthy, and he's been banged up both his years too. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, you think of running backs like I don't know. That's a whole show we could go through. Like what colleges?
Well, I know. I think it was Sporting News. I think Joel Klatt did one too. They did like the All Century teams. If you guys have a chance, like if you're just bored laying around, go check that out because it's pretty cool. I think they did like 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, the 2000s. It's just cool to go down like memory lane. And it's like one of those things where you do see a lot of these college greats that do transition in the NFL. And for whatever reason, things just don't work,
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I know Iowa stands out as like tight end, but the last couple hasn't been so great. But they, Eric All was there after being at Michigan. I mean, obviously Kittle, like they were constantly producing dudes. Them in Penn State at tight end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they actually might have good wide receivers this year. They might not have a quarterback to get it to them, though. That's the only problem.
So preseason game on Thursday.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to? We'll start with quarterback. I don't want to see Flacco or Burrow play a lot. It's kind of where I'm at. And then you got Johnson and Clifford. I don't know. Just get the ball to guys so we can see them make plays. That's where I'm at with quarterback.
Yeah, I think I just want to clean football. Like, just don't have penalties. If we go 3 and out, I don't care. Like, I'm not gonna like fuss over it. I do like to see like every play just be under center, just practice it more. So it'd be nice to kind of see that. I think you're just again like it's preseason. You're probably gonna see a very very vanilla play sheet there. So I think a couple series. I think probably ramping up 1 or 2 series is fine with Joe. I think that's what they played last year against Philly in that opener. Maybe it was a little bit more than that, and then maybe Joe Flacco 1 series, and then the combination of Johnson and Clifford can take us home.
Yeah. And then running back. I think running back will be fun because this is where we'll actually get to see guys. I don't need to see too much Chase Brown or B. Ryan.
Yeah.
But Taj Brooks, and can anybody supplant him as running back 3 if he doesn't look good? I would play Brooks a lot because I see what you have.
Yes.
So but then you have your guy Gary Brightwell. Maybe he gets some return action, but can he do something at running back? Kendall Milton. And then the undrafted guys, Kentrell Bullock and Jamal Haynes. So you're probably going to talk Haynes. You're going to get the Haynes train rolling.
Yeah, I've heard. It's so tough for these guys, and because you only have like what are practices, an hour and a half.
And when you're running, and when you're running back, and it's not like live tackling.
Yeah, I do think you're going to see Brooks play a lot of snaps. Because to your point, he needs to. So expect him to probably carry the bulk of the carries for the first like 3 quarters at minimum half. So yeah, I'm excited to kind of see maybe a second year kind of like reshaped his body a little bit. Maybe he's got a little more elusiveness now. So I want him to show me something. So
yes, him show us something. But if not, some of these other guys flash and maybe get a little more opportunity to actually compete with him. Because right now you're just thinking, well, he's probably got the spot because, well, no one's really impressing that much at running back. But it is a very important position for preseason games.
Yeah, I agree. Preseason games, you're doing a lot of running, especially as like it gets into the 3rd and 4th quarter when the teams are just trying to get out of there. So,
and then receiver, Chase Higgins don't need to see a lot. We would like to see we talked about it, Yoshi and Colby Young. Colby's definitely going to get a lot of snaps, but I want to see Yoshi get snaps and catch the ball, and you should be out there having to impress a little bit in preseason. You shouldn't be standing on the sideline like, I'm like Jamar and Teat. You're not. Your career's not been that. So go play more.
Yeah.
But it's going to be exciting to see the rest of that battle because you got Tinsley, Charlie Jones, Keyshawn Williams, Dante Myers, Kendrick Pryor, Xavier Johnson, Jordan Moore, and Noah Thomas. So, like, who do you think? I still want to believe in Keyshawn Williams that maybe he flashes as a returner, but Charlie Jones seems like he is kind of leading that charge, and the Bengals have more faith in him, and he's made some plays as a receiver.
Yeah, and Charlie's been able to position himself nicely that he's got the trust of Darren Simmons, which is kind of earned his spot. I mean, he's made some plays returning. Like, I would have liked to see in his career. I just don't think it's ever going to happen. Him get more of a chance. I always looked at him as like a rhythm receiver. Like once he gets into rhythm, he starts to kind of like feel his way. So like, yeah, definitely want to see some snaps. The Mitchell Tinsley kind of because he lit it up in preseason last year. This is one
he had some impressive catches in regular season too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he did. Tosa Gonzalez against the Patriots on that little fader out. But yeah, this is going to be one of the more interesting battles to watch, to be honest, is that kind of final wide receiver spot. So yeah, want to see these guys compete. Tinsley, looking forward to Colby Young, see if he can carry over what he's done in practice. I'm always excited to see, Dante Myers, obviously, but
Myers and Noah Thomas too, because he's 6'5".
Noah Thomas,
one great catch, but it's like, can we see more? And he's pretty quick and athletic for a guy that's 6'5".
Yeah, they say comments like he belongs. Like he looks like he should be out there, like he looks like a legit guy. So it's gonna be cool to see him. I could see Noah Thomas being one of those dudes in preseason, being like the preseason All-American, like where he just lights it up, But yeah, he made some plays in camp. So that
even if not, I think he's definitely a guy you keep around on your practice squad this season. Because I also just like what he could do if, Higgins had to miss time. yes, Colby Young will be the first guy in, but hey, maybe you need to call another guy up. He's got the size. He's got some decent athleticism. And what he can do as a blocker, I think that's an underrated part for receivers. Like, he's got that body, and there was some pretty impressive blocking reps that I seen from him when I went back and watched some more of him at Georgia recently.
Yeah.
And then tight end is very intriguing because like Gesicki, Sample, I think they're good. I want to see Eric All out there, right? Because like, hey, they may be counting on you when the season starts, but to count on you, you have to be healthy. I kind of want to see you go out there and play and prove that you can stay healthy even in the preseason a little bit. Because otherwise, I need to be moving down to Tanner Hudson. And obviously, I want to see Jack injuries. And then Cam Grandy and Josh Caddis just got active, but he'll probably get some snaps. But Grandy's still around. Jack Ender is the main one I'm looking at, but Eric Gall, I would get some snaps for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of been interesting because I know they kind of been like maintaining, like ramping him still. So I kind of wonder how that's going to impact how many snaps. I would like, to your point, I would like to see him get as much work as possible as well to see where we're at with that. Because like, if we are going to do this under the center game this year, he's going to be kind of, it's all going to be hinged around like, his health and what he looks like. So, yeah,
he's so versatile. And then offensive line, man, like right now for the 53, I'm kind of thinking we only keep 9 because Jalen Coker, I know, got beat some. I haven't heard anything really about Javon Foster or Christian Jones. Corey Robinson had some decent reps, but that's another undrafted guy that the tape wasn't great for. Liam Brown and Jacob Byer on the inside, I don't think they have a shot to make this roster. But I want to see Brian Parker. I don't think Connor Lew will play, but I want to see Jalen Rivers. I want to see Brian Parker. Guys that I expect to be on this team, I want to see them play in a lot of snaps and see how they perform. But then it really is the tackles. Like, can anyone show at tackle that gets a lot of snaps? Whether that's Foster, Jones, Robinson, Coker. That's what I'm looking for on the O-line. How about you?
Yeah, same. I'm with you on that. Want to see the guys we were excited to draft, Parker and Lou. I'd like to see Parker line up all over the place. Like, line him up at tackle, guard, center. I don't care. Like, get him as many reps all up and down the line. Jalen Rivers, I wonder if they'll do some stuff with him too. Slide him out maybe.
Like guard tackle. I would let him play a little guard and tackle because, like, if you're going to be on the 53, get your reps now playing all these spots. The same thing with Parker. Like, because if you're only keeping 9, you want versatility. You want Parker to be able to play basically 5 spots. You want Rivers to be able to play 4. Cody Ford, you think you can probably play 4 spots. Like,
D-line. I do love Chuck still. I'm gonna be. I have the Chuck Sizzle shirt, so I'm still gonna be.
Yeah, I still got the Chuck Sizzle shirt.
Yeah.
somewhere. I don't know where it's at, to be honest.
Yeah.
D-line, I think Cassius Howell, obviously. Like a lot of these veterans, Slayton, even Murphy, Mafe, I don't need to see them too much. Dexter Lawrence, Jonathan Allen.
No.
But Chris Jenkins, Cedric Johnson, Landon Robinson, the guys that I think can make this team. Isaiah Foskey I have on the outside looking in, but we'll see what happens with Stewart. Those are the guys I'm looking at playing a lot of snaps and wanting to see them impress. Then you got the D tackles of like Howard Cross III, Jordan Jefferson, McKinley Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Landon Robinson, right? Like, we got to see something. If we're all going to be on this hype train that we're on, we're a part of it. He's been on the show. We're part of the hype train. But this is his time to impress in preseason game 1.
Yeah. I like quarterback with Joe. Like, the defense line's become my prized possession. So I don't want to see any of these guys play. Like, Cassius Howell, I don't even need to see him. I know, like, we played Shamar Stewart a lot in the preseason. And then a couple years ago, I think they were playing God, geez.
Well, what'd be nice is Howell plays, and you don't know how many snaps you're going to play him. Depends on performance. And he goes out there and has like 2 sacks and like 10 snaps. And you're like, shut it down.
Yeah, yank him. Yeah.
Right. That's what I want to see from Howell. So let's see it. And then let's set you down and let Foskey. And I think he will play a lot because I don't think they have a lot of DNs on the roster.
Yeah, I'm excited about these, deep in the depth chart guys. Like I know Jordan Jefferson was a guy that you kind of liked last year, and then, Antoine Powell Ryland was a guy that I haven't heard much from him in camp, but like we were all excited to pick him up from the Eagles. So it's like I'm actually really excited to watch like some of the depth on the defensive line.
Well,
Like
and if we're doing the 3-4, that's because I have Powell Ryland listed with the linebackers, but it's
right.
like there's the guy after Mafe and Howe, that are it's playing a lot of Foskey and him are playing a lot of snaps.
Yeah.
Cedric Johnson will play a decent amount, but I think Cedric Johnson's has to feel pretty safe on the 53 right now.
Yeah, with uncertainty around, Stewart, and he's played some valuable snaps, so I think
Flash
yeah,
his first couple seasons. So
yeah, but then this is the kind of like McKinley Jackson, Chris Jenkins. It's kind of like they're on the are you going to continue to play in the NFL? Like, are you guys just going to fade away like some players do? Like, this is the chance. Like, even if you don't end up sticking with the Bengals, like go out there and ball out and just put some.
And a lot of these guys will be on our practice squad. It's 16-man practice squad, so it's like you're looking at guys that you feel like you're going to have on your practice squad, and injuries happen. These guys could get called up. Linebacker Barrett Carter-Knight, they probably won't play a ton. They just, they're the starters. They know that. Burks, being a veteran, I don't know how much he'll play, but he might. And then like Joe Giles Harris, Shaka Hayward, those guys will get a lot of snaps. And they're probably going to be more special teams guy if they make the 53. But this is their time to get their reps at linebacker in the preseason game like this. Mm-hmm. But then the young guys, right? Eric Gentry, Jack Dingle, Swayze Bozeman, Liam Anderson, Antoine Powell Ryland, edge/linebacker. I'm excited to see all those guys because it feels like there's always a linebacker that will stand out, like an undrafted guy. It could be Dingle or Gentry or one of these guys.
I totally forgot about Eric Gentry.
Right.
Totally forgot. Removed from my consciousness. Excited. Like these are the back-to-back years we've had like linebackers step up and that we fanned out over, like it's always fun to like these guys make names for themselves. So that's going to be a fun one to watch. Obviously like depending upon how much the starters play and what you can really gain from these vanilla offenses, like you want to see Knight and Carter just like kind of show you something, like not be out of position and, pursuing to the ball and all that good stuff. I just don't expect to learn much from that. But some of these like, backups, like Jack Dingle is a guy like a lot of athleticism. Does he flash that? Joe Giles Harris, like he made plays when he's out there. And then obviously like, the uniqueness of the body frame with Eric Gentry is going to be kind of fun to see, like how they potentially deploy him too. So
right, because if you're talking a 3-4, that's another guy like he has some pass rushing chops. It's just he's so damn thin for a guy that's 6'7".
Yeah,
in general.
Yeah.
And then defensive back, Turner, Dax Hill, Davis, Takario Davis. I want to see Jasir Taylor, Ivy. And then like PJ Jules, especially. You mentioned him earlier. Like, does he flash again? He's one of those guys that's like, at worst, he's a special team stud.
Yeah.
But like Braylon Lux, Sayer Wright, undrafted guy they brought in, is this a chance for him to show something, like Lux did last year? Because I think Wright's got talent. And then like Dejon Anthony, it's kind of now or never in my opinion. Like you have to really flash to push for a spot.
Yeah, Dejon's like one of those like enigmas where you just haven't seen him forever, it's just like
injuries last year a lot.
Yeah,
was a bit part of it.
Yeah,
and then like Russ Yeast, the coolest name, Russ Yeast.
Yeah, I know Russ.
I know nothing about him.
Was that the Kentucky receiver that we drafted? Remember, like back in the day, Russ Yeast. I feel like that was the same exact name.
I think he had a dad or something that was something.
Yeah, I wonder if that's the same guy. That like just it kind of like want to see Bobo out there running around making plays, like that kind of thing. So it like the depth here is when you're gonna kind of see like what guys step up like to be those depth pieces. Like it's showing that they can hang with wide receivers in the NFL. albeit it'll be like their second and third stringers. But you just don't want to see them embarrassed because that will leave a bad taste in our mouth if these guys are just getting cooked by like backups and some guys that we might be counting on for depth pieces like DJ Ivy and Bobo. So just want to see them play solid. That's what I'm
pooping in the dark. Chop said, "Yeah, right, Chop. You could have hopped on here. You could have hopped on here from the shitter.
Yeah,
no
Brett,
dedication. No dedication.
Yeah, you could have hot spotted.
Anything else? College football preview, Hall of Fame game, anything? Anything you're excited about this weekend? Or
no. I mean, it was just exciting to watch football last night, man. I almost had to like get back into it, like watching football again. But yeah, that was a really fun game. I think college football, like training camps have opened for most teams. Like I just think the college football season is going to be like, is there an Indiana this year, or is Indiana going to be just like their defense is going to be crazy? They got their dude back because the 5-year eligibility rule.
Stephen Daly, yeah. I think they got another guy back too, but Stephen Daly's really good. He got hurt before that Ohio State Big Ten game celebrating or whatever, but he had a great season.
Yeah. So yeah, is there going to be a surprise team? So I think college football is going to be a beast again this year, where it's going to be like hard to predict. I mean, obviously us being Buckeyes fans, they have like probably one of the tougher schedules since I've been like knowing what football is that I've seen them play in some time. So can they survive that gauntlet? What does Arch Manning look like? Does he pick up on how he finished last year? And then all these other quarterback prospects, Dante Moore, Lenore Sellers, like
CJ Carr, like CJ Carr. Because there are a lot of guys that I'm like 27, 28, I don't know, but yeah. You keep getting blown up, so I figure you got to go. Otherwise, we could talk a lot of college football.
Yeah, we can. I'll probably have to cut it loose for now. Yeah,
all right, no worries.
But yeah, let's. What are you looking forward to? Like, what's swirling in your head in terms of like college football, in NFL? Like, what's outside of the Bengals? What's been kind of catching your attention lately?
I'm just ready for all of college football, honestly. You talked about the quarterbacks, but like I love line play, like D line, O line. So like I'm very excited about like the defensive tackle class for the draft wise and for college football season. There's so many like David Stone, Will Eccles, Ahmad Moten, and Justin Scott from Miami. Mm-hmm. Like there's so many combinations of lines too that I'm like, oh, they're going to be exciting. Like Texas Tech, they're always hammering the portal and they got a lot of good guys, but so many teams. Yeah. Syracuse, Nostradamus. Yeah. Your Syracuse got some good corners and Chris Pill and your guy from last year, Demetrius Samuel, who I clipped up. I don't think I posted that yet, but it was a true freshman last year. He's pretty good. So definitely the corners for Syracuse are two that I know about quite a bit from summer scouting stuff. Yeah, Crip, I don't want to go either, but it's Dustin, and there's no poor Tom. There's no Greg. I can't sit on here by myself, Crip. Crip, I could send a link. You want to co-host, Crip?
Crip, we still got to make that bet that you got to pop on if the Bengals win the Super Bowl. He hasn't taken that bait yet. I would say the marquee game of probably week one is, Clemson LSU. That's going to be fun to watch. Primetime game. So,
yeah, I'm trying to think. Like Clemson definitely don't have the hype that they did last year, and they lost a lot of guys. But I do still like the edge. Oh my God, I know it's Will something. Will Help.
Oh,
that was originally at Purdue. I still like him quite a bit. But man, I saw his like official measurements. He was like 6'6" and 7/8 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's almost too tall. I start to worry if you're too tall as an edge.
That leverage.
But he also they use him as almost a light. He is the Eric Gentry, but a lot better player, and he's 260, not 220.
Yeah. Because week one, that would probably be the only marquee game, to be honest. I'm trying to see, go through the schedule here. If there's anything else I'm still going to be stoked, but
Yeah,
That's
Arizona
biggest
State,
game.
man. They're receivers, right? They got the kid from Colorado. See, I always blank on names. Like I can picture their highlights.
Yeah, I'm the same way too.
God, Amari Miller from Colorado, and then
Yep.
they also got the kid from Boston College, Reed Harris, who I think's like he plays receiver, but I'm like, could he be a tight end in the league? They got some fun guys, but they don't have Levitt anymore. They got Cutter Boley from Kentucky as the quarterback, so I don't know who can get them.
Mm-hmm.
No, I can't do solo, brother. I'm too busy. I'm ripping heaters. I still got to finish cutting my grass too. It's probably about to start raining.
He's got 3/4 the way. He's got to go the full way. You know.
Yeah, with 3 wheels because 1 wheel came off. So
you just taped that on. It was a broken wheel.
no, like I fixed the wheel before, like went
Yeah.
stuff, and that was a whole process. But yeah, now a whole different wheel came off, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah. Well, what is it? A night practice tonight for the Bengals? Like, what the hell's going on?
I don't know. Greg said the gates open at 5:10.
Okay.
So it probably a 6 o'clock practice. Oh, AC said, "Are you still on?" Yep. Jump in. Crip, your prayers might be answered. Anthony
AC.
Kazinza, since there's no sports with strawberry ice.
Yeah. Ice took his ass to Florida.
Yeah.
Fall.
Ice fans in Florida. I know AC, like, because I went down to work and I was getting my room ready for the school year. And I seen AC because he hadn't been on for a couple weeks. And he's like, "Hey, Jeff, are you doing your show even though you're in Florida? I could actually get on, you know?"
Yeah.
Jeff's like, "No, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys."
Jeff should do the show with his shirt off, floating in the water.
He said he don't have a computer or nothing down there.
Dedicated to the game. Bring
Like, you got a
bring your
phone, bro.
podcast.
Just come for your phone. Just hold your phone and do a whole show.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, man.
Now you got to wait and see if AC jumps in.
I'm out stalling. Get in there, AC. You know you want to talk on a mic.
Chat, what are we doing, chat? It's a good time for me to rip a heater too, because then AC will be like, "God damn it, I'm the only one on here." You're used to it.
Yeah. Where is I
think Pork Chop should hop in from pooping, or Greg should hop in from training camp.
Yeah, he should do the live stream. It has to be probably like a light practice tonight, right? It's not like padded or whatever. I mean, they might have. I don't think they're.
I don't know.
Does NFL still do the back together, like where they bring all the crowd in? Is this what that is? I thought that was on like Saturdays.
Yeah, they usually have a back to thing. I don't know. With me not having my tickets, I don't pay any attention.
Yeah, I lost count on what the schedule was this year. I was like, oh, they had an off day today, and I'm like, oh no, it's an evening practice because Greg said he was going to go to the training camp. I was like, they're doing the evening.
Oh,
practice.
this must be the one in the stadium.
Yeah,
this is Greg on Twitter. First in line, he's at the stadium.
Okay,
this guy's been in line for hours.
Yeah, bro. It's a big stadium. I think you could have been okay getting down there later.
No, he loves to get in and run to the front. This guy is he's something.
I hope he's tailgating. Standing in line with a beer in your hand.
My God. The new one this year so Joel Abney DMs me a lot. His son is like Keith Abney, a tight end from Illinois. I'm like, there's hardly no tape for me to clip up. He had like 80 receiving yards.
It's like, send me his blocking reel. Is that part of his repertoire? Yeah, I don't know much about it.
Well, yeah, it's like, I don't know. He wants me to.
We'll see. I mean, the intriguing guy for me this year, too, is Josh Hoover, because I was high on him a couple years ago, and then he turned into a turnover machine. So it's like, can he elevate his play with Indiana? Because that could be interesting because, with them. And I mean, I guess because they've been successful, obviously that, you get the number 1 pick. The year before it was the Ohio University quarterback, and he played pretty well for them. So, and, he's got Nash now to throw to, Charlie Becker. So I don't know, man. Indiana is like legit. Like I think they're here to stay, like for sure. So that's
they got 2 Kansas State transfers at edge, and then getting Daly back, Mario Landino. They brought back another I love their defensive line, and then with Marsh they got from Michigan State. Becker's really
Marsh.
good.
Yeah.
I just don't know what Hoover's going to do, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what he's going to do. And the other kind of intriguing thing is like, you hear these mixed like reviews, then probably have a great spring practice, but Bryce Underwood, like what does that look like for them? Like, because they got the car kid waiting in the wings too. It's like all these cars are running around.
AC said, okay, how long will you be on? I'm like, I don't know, 20 minutes. We've been on an hour and a half.
Yeah. I'll hold if he's coming on, I'll hold down the fort until he pops on. If not, then I'll skedaddle and go meet my family.
Okay.
What's
He
the
said,
chat?
charging his headphones for a few minutes and then he'll be on.
They'll sleep on ASU.
Did your hot Asian girlfriend go with you to Columbus?
Mm-hmm.
Keep her in Utah.
No, she drug her along.
So
Arizona
has she gone with you to Columbus?
Yeah. Yep. We're living. Yeah. Kind of is. It's like she actually has friends there and stuff. So
okay.
Yeah. We're actually living up like in Lewis Center, which is a little north of Columbus, like 10-15 minutes.
You're going to Cleveland games.
Oh, hell no. Columbus is a Cleveland city, though, I think. Like,
it's probably a little more split with Burrow, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's always been more Cleveland Browns.
Well, that's the thing with Ohio. It's always been like Cincinnati, it's like its own little bubble, It's not even like – because I don't even know if there's really a lot of Ohio State Buckeye fans in Cincinnati. That's like where the cutoff is, it seems like. And that could have changed over the years too. I mean, Ohio State's recruited tons of players from the Cincinnati area too.
So, yeah, we'll be homers just for credit. With the Buckeyes camp, have you kept up on any of the updates? I've seen that like Devin McCune is killing it, the UTSA transfer receiver. Yeah, he's dynamic, so I could see a role for him. I actually would like to see his role be Brandon Ennis. I am not a Brandon Ennis believer.
No, I just don't think like if you can level up at that position and get like more of a playmaker.
I think they could play McCune inside, or they could play Brock Boyd inside with Henry Jr. on the outside.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I think. Yeah, Devin McEwen was like the guy because he came from because everybody's like, oh, Kyle Parker, blah blah blah, but like, yeah, he's the one that like I think even in spring like a lot of coaches were excited about, and then
I watched some of his tape, clipped some up, like he had almost 800 yards, like, and he's shifty, he's fast, like It's like no, dude, it don't matter if you came from UTSA or not.
Yeah, but it's also I do think. For the right wide receiver number 2 spot, I think it's going to be like a heavy rotation. It will be interesting to see, like, because I could also see Brock Boyd being the third receiver, because he kind of lit it up. He's crafty.
But I think he's better in the slot. Like, I would love to see him get some of those Ennis reps. But if you go 4 wide or something, you can have them both in the slot.
Yeah, and I think the other theme of it's been like they've been kind of like shifting around the line a little bit. I think they put Ian Moore back at left tackle today, maybe, if I'm not mistaken.
He was there yesterday, and today I think they went Cerveld left tackle and right guard. But yes, I love Ed Moore. I clipped him up the other day. Put him at left tackle, let him, get his reps in, good and bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then so that's been kind of notable. And I think the running back position, it sounds like Isaiah West is getting a little bit of like the run with the ones. And then in the defensive backfield, like it sounds like they've been having Jermaine Matthews, kind of interchanging with Kelly a little bit.
Yeah, because Kelly's impressing
Yeah.
to transfer from Georgia.
Yes, yeah, because he was a 5-star, right? Like I believe so, or maybe a high 4. But anyway,
I was gonna say if not, he was
yeah.
Georgia only gets dogs on that defense.
I know, for real though. So that's been kind of interesting, and I think like the linebacker deployment, it seems like,
Alliegro from transfer, he rushes well as what like
yeah, and then because everybody was excited about Riley Pettijohn, and then we didn't like see like I think he was injured.
I don't know. He flashed as a true freshman.
Yeah,
he just didn't play a lot.
And then they have Sincere Johnson, the stud that they recruited from Cleveland too.
Yeah,
so,
well,
like,
it's Peyton Pierce could be the guy. It's like their true linebacker too.
Yeah.
So Nostradamus says, "What team do you guys think is going to be the biggest surprise team?" I'll say Oklahoma State, just because Messmaker and all those guys. I'm not saying they're going to be Indiana right away, but it's like when you bring all the guys with you, like their coach did. White, Young, the running back. Like all these guys, Messmaker, they have a chance to make not playoffs, but we're talking surprise team is like they're competitive every week in the Big 12.
I think Oklahoma on the college side of things. I think their defense is going to be tough. It's like obviously if John Mateer can stay healthy, like how does he play? But I think Oklahoma could be one of the teams that could potentially like cause some problems for people. And
they have Witten as their tight end coach now, and they've got some decent tight ends. But I like Satania at receiver. They got some decent backs, some young running backs. But yeah, it is all on Mateer. West Virginia, like that would be surprising to me, Nostradamus, because there's not a lot of draft guys that I've watched.
Yeah. My surprise team in the NFL, and this is going to be based upon purely like.
Is this your Bears pick? Because I said the Bears last year.
You said Bears last year. Well, my pick 2 years ago was Arizona, or maybe it was Seattle.
It might have been last year. Might have been Arizona.
Yeah, last year.
You've been on that Arizona train, and it did not work out.
No, it didn't. I should just give up.
But now you got Carson back.
Yeah, best preseason performance ever. I would say like Vikings this asterisk Vikings if Kyler Murray plays well, like I still think
that's a big ask too.
Yeah, it's a big ask. But I just kind of think like Green Bay. It's kind of like what have they done? They're waiting for Micah Parsons to get back. I think Detroit Lions have like their window. I don't know where it is with that. Like they kind of just, I don't know where I'm in with the Lions. And obviously Chicago is definitely probably the favorite to win the NFC North. But I kind of think like people, because the uncertainty around the quarterback position, but when you actually look at the Vikings roster, it's pretty solid everywhere else. So, I think they could, again, asterisk Kyler Murray, if he plays well, they could be the surprise team. Now, surprise team being like go to the playoffs, stuff like that. But,
Yeah, I don't – man, that's good for the NFL because I haven't put too much thought into it. There's no one that jumps out. I feel like, some people will say the Bengals because they missed the playoffs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like that just feels like a team that we're already counting to make the playoffs. You did it, Dustin. You held on till AC came in.
I did the thing.
You plugged in the headphones.
Yeah, I did.
You activated the studio.
I don't know how long it'll last, but yeah. How are you guys?
Man, good.
Good. Dustin moved back to Columbus from Utah, so he left your West Coast.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Family, get around family and whatnot.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a decent excuse.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you guys?
Man, we just went up and down like the entire college and NFL. We've done it all. Just waiting.
Okay. Well, did I join too late? I mean, you're an hour and 40 in. Good God.
No, like it's mainly Crypt Keeper's fault. He's like, keep this going. I was like, can't do it by myself, I was like, but AC, if he hops in,
Well,
going for another.
I've got nothing. You know what I mean? I got nothing.
No, we'll restart and we'll talk all about camp. But Dustin,
let's do another hour and a half. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Dale can go. He can go the distance.
I'm ready. I go all night long.
I know he can. I know. Well, okay.
Hey.
I don't know about that
one. 2 pumps.
We are keeping an eye on your guy Luke Waffle out at USC since Ohio State lost the recruitment battle.
Okay.
But
But how do we feel about that linebacker from USC that is on the Bengals practice squad?
Eric Gentry. That's what
Yes.
That's one of the guys we were saying that I have seen nothing from camp.
Nothing. I've heard nothing.
But
nothing.
I feel like safety and linebacker and running back, there are probably 3 positions that it's like preseason is way more important. The preseason.
Yeah, I mean, Dale, you and I have talked about it. I think Gentry's basically like a 2-year project, right? Like he's a guy just with that height. You're like, okay, add weight. Can you do the things in the pros that you did in college, but also like we're gonna pigeonhole you into this thing, right? Like I think they want him to be a defensive end, but at 220, 230, that's just not possible. I don't know.
But it's like with the 3-4 they're deploying and your outside linebackers, so you're basically running a 5-2 a lot of times. That's a perfect role for him. I think, there's a chance for him to impress because that's like your backups to kind of Mafe and Howe as of right now, to me, who's shining. But Dustin, do you need to go? Or
I was going to say one thing on in and out go, like, what if he flashes a lot on special teams and – dude, we just use him on like kickoffs or on a field goal coverage where it's just like he jumps up with that
right in the middle, right in the middle, right? Yeah.
Like, I think you can make a career of that. Like, even if that's his ceiling, I'd be fine with that. Blocking a couple field goals in these highly contested games, they can flip momentum quickly. So yeah, I'd be excited to see all these guys because we were talking about how we really haven't heard much about Duggar. Jamal Haynes is a guy I'm really looking forward to, the running back from Georgia Tech, because he's versatile. So there's a lot of players that in our first preseason get next week. I'm really excited.
I think, first of all, I think backup wide receivers and running backs are going to be the spotlight in preseason, right?
Yeah.
But I actually want to ask this to you guys because John and I talked about this on our show last night. Like, when you don't talk about guys, is that actually, depending on position, is that a good thing? Is it not a good thing? You know what I mean? Like where you're like, oh, this guy just sucks, obviously, right? But I don't know. If you don't talk about certain players, it's like, okay, well, maybe that means they're just not necessarily doing things right, but not doing anything that's glaringly wrong, right?
Yeah, I said the same thing. We were talking about safeties, and like PJ Jules along with that. It's like you've heard nothing about this guy with Duggar, and it's like, but that's one of those positions. Like you want physicality, like that's what Duggar brings. It's what Brian Cook brings.
Yeah,
Brian Cook had that interception. That's the only reason we were talking about him, practice wise. But it's like that's why you have those guys, and I think preseason games are way more important for safety, linebacker, running back specifically.
Who's the guy you guys think? Because always there's a running back or a wide receiver in preseason. And especially with the Bengals, some of those guys sneak onto the team, right? Who do you guys think is like that guy that like is like, dude, we can't not have a spot for him?
I'm gonna say Noah Thomas is gonna light it up in the preseason. Like that's a guy I'm looking for. I mean, I'd also say, it's kind of trendy to say Dante Myers too, because he's actually been lighting it up in practice. But I'm going to say like Noah Thomas. I could see third quarter, fourth quarter, like 6 catches. He goes for a touchdown. He's the preseason All-American.
Just throw it up. Just throw it up. right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
I would say maybe Jack Dingles, since we've already talked about the other linebacker.
I like that.
Maybe that's a guy who makes the push because of special teams. But we saw guys like Sean Meta. I feel like Shaka Hayward, all these guys that are undrafted linebackers are the ones that end up having a chance to make the 53 because it's special teams. But hey,
Yep.
and this preseason game they had 10 tackles. This one they had 8, and it's like, yeah, we got to just keep him, and he's going to be a special team staple that we have a vision for in the future.
You guys have been around these parts long enough to know that Darren Simmons has a significant say as to the back end of the depth chart of certain positions, whether it's wide receiver, whether it's defensive back, whether it's linebacker. Like he's got guys where he's like, look, maybe this guy isn't putting up the passing stats, but this guy can, be the gunner, can be the, like he's going to have a say. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now we'll do some rapid fire. Dustin, do you have to go?
Yeah, I'm gonna hop off here,
All
boys.
right, brother.
You guys
I'll
have
do about-
But Van's off the wall. I love it.
I had my Johnny Utah pin on here earlier, but it's,
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good seeing
Good
you,
to see
buddy.
you, man. Good to see you again. You
I'm
guys have a
sorry
good
I
evening.
didn't come on till late, but not
I
late
didn't
for
send
me.
you. I
right?
didn't send you the invite till late, so it's
I
not your
know.
fault.
It's all right. It's all good.
See you, boys. Who day?
See you, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do
Dale,
some rap-
I mean, I'm chilling. I knocked out a lot of work, so I'll hang. But if you got to go, bro, I understand.
Yeah, I figure we'll do 10 or 15, and if this cuts out, just jump off because it's starting to storm here, like I guess it is in Cincinnati.
Oh God, like thunderstorm.
Yeah, I'm hearing some thunder.
I'm not going to complain where I am then.
Yeah, let's get exactly. We'll do some rapid fire training camp. The guy who has really been balling out, Colby Young.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he can push Yoshi? I said I think it would be an in-season, mid-season thing. Maybe there's an injury to Higgins or somebody that he has to come in a game, and he has to impress and get more reps with Burrow. But he is certainly the talk of training camp early on at receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he has a legitimate chance to supplant / take snaps away from Yoshi?
That's a really good question because it's like, okay, the Bengals have used Yoshi in like different spots, right? Like slot, sometimes outside. So it's like, well, what do you want Yoshi to be? Right? Like make a decision there. And I honestly think, and T. Higgins is amazing, but I also think that's why there's some hype behind Noah Thomas, because I think they are unfortunately banking on the fact that T. Higgins may or may not miss 3 or 4 games a year. And so they want that big dude that can stretch the field here and there, whether it's Colby Young or Noah Thomas, and they want a guy that can also maybe slide into the slot and catch that occasional slant, right?
Yep.
I don't know. I think Yoshi's spot is safe given his resume, but I just think the Bengals need to figure out, like, okay, is he a slot guy? Is he a boundary guy? Is he both? Whatever they want to do with him. And then when you filter through Colby Young, Noah Thomas, all those guys that are 6'4", 6'5", 210, 220, whatever, that are potential T. Higgins replacements, like, figure it out. But I don't know. I'm very unclear about the future of Yoshi, you know.
What's the last year of his contract? I don't think he's a prime candidate for extension. They had the Jermaine Burton disaster where, I mean, honestly, to me, it kind of worked out because if he impressed in year 1 and then imploded, do you have T. Higgins?
Yeah.
I just like Colby Young
can
certainly supplant Yoshi after this year, but I think he can do it in season.
It's a matter of if those guys can also work well in the slot, because We know T is a on the boundary is outstanding, especially with 50-50 balls, but he also works in the slot and does the dirty work inside sometimes. Can those guys, Noah Thomas and Colby Young, can they also do that? We know that those guys with their size, their catch radius, everything, they can do the boundary stuff. Can they do the stuff that T. Higgins also does when he kicks inside? I think that's a question. And it's also a question for Yoshi, right? Like, can he do it consistently? And I think that has been an issue with him over the last year, 2 years. I don't know. But
the drops, almost a 14% drop rate. And in practice, it's like, oh, Yoshi with the sliding catch. This was yesterday. And then he had a drop in a one-on-one drill. He had a drop in 11-on-11s over the middle with no one around him. And it's almost like he's in his head. And it's like, at what point does Burrow say, give me somebody else in there?
Can't trust him. Can't trust him, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I really like Yoshi. I like his personality. I like his size. I like what he's done with the Bengals. And particularly in his first 2 years, I don't know what, I don't know how you'd want to classify it, but basically like production per touch, right? Like his first 2 years was like off the charts, right? Like he was a red zone threat and all that stuff. I don't know if he's ever going to go well beyond that. And I don't know if the Bengals know that he's going to go well beyond that. Right. And so that's where I get a little bit, and I think that the Bengals did themselves a service a little bit with the Colby Young draft pick, because I don't think they know how consistent Yoshi can be. And I love his size, love his hands, love his speed, but we have seen him have some lapses in critical moments.
Yeah, and so it's almost like I don't know that there's any more to get out of him, any more upside. Whereas I think Colby Young has a lot more. That's a good point, Chris.
Yeah.
On the defensive side of the ball, the D-line obviously flying around. Defense has gotten the better of the offense the last couple training camps. But one guy specifically, our second-round pick, Cassius Howe, getting a lot of buzz in camp. And you know how excited I was when we drafted that guy. He is explosive. He has the bend, that just the ghost move, all these things that Cassius Howe has that we haven't had on this defensive line. Like somebody said, maybe Carl Lawson as a rookie because he was a 6'2" type guy. He had some good bend, but he has a different explosiveness. What type of role do you see Cassius Howe having? I think Shamar Stewart injury has really opened up his snap count, especially early in the season. And even in training camp, going against the ones, he's only going to continue to impress. And it wouldn't surprise me if he led the team in sacks. How about you? And what kind of role do you envision for?
I mean, so lead the team in sacks. It's like, okay, does Mafe have 7 and Allen has 4? You know what I mean? I think that's a collective. Instead of the Trey Hendrickson has 20 and nobody else has any, basically. I think there's going to be like, this guy was solid. This guy was solid. That's how I see it. But on our show last night, John and I talked about him, and I hate to do this to the guy, but given the college, given the size, everything, there are some Von Miller things that I see about him.
If this is Miller Lite.
Miller Lite. There it is right there. A 24 ounce of Miller Lite. That's what we need. So Von Miller had about 3 inches or so longer arms than Cassius Howell, but collegiate statistics tell you like it's similar. It's a similar guy, similar build, 6'2"-ish, 250-ish, right? I don't know, man. Like you see him, and it's not just a speed guy. And if you saw the Thursday practice where he bowled over
There was a second angle. It's like there was a second shooter. There was a second angle.
Oh, P. Ryan tripped him, but P. Ryan tripped him because Orlando Brown was pushed back and he didn't know how to react.
It's the speed to power from Hal, because you have to worry about his ghost move. Has been I don't want to get beat immediately around the outside, and then it's like, okay, they're so worried about that. They're not expecting this right up in their chest.
Yep. I think that's what surprised everybody was the power move, right? Like everyone thought he was kind of the, with this the 6'4", 6'5", 260, 280 defensive ends that the Bengals have always liked. This is the guy that I think a lot of people have been coveting, even as a changeup, right? Like a guy that's like, hey, speed guy off the edge. Who's the guy that was drafted by Dallas last year that was from Boston College?
Donovan Ezerique.
Yes. So I liked him a lot because he was a changeup to everything else the Bengals had, right? Like, hey, bring him in on third down, passing situations, bring him in and let him do his thing. I initially felt that Cassius Howell was kind of that guy a little bit, but now I'm like, damn, dude, I don't know. Like maybe he is an all-tool guy, even with the short arms.
He got up to 255 last year, and it's like he doesn't play like a guy that's 255. But if you're 255, you got the size to hold out and do a little bit of everything. Like the stock and the trajectory of him is just fantastic.
Again, this is practice.
It
defense. The defense is chomping at the bit to have some sort of like contact, right, and tackles and all that kind of stuff. But I'm really excited about that kid. I'm really excited about him.
Well, sometimes you just see it, right? Like, yes, it's practice, but if this guy moves different, and he did in college, like when you're talking about pure pass rush, now it was obviously the arm length concerns, stuff like that. Was at Bowling Green a couple of years, wasn't ahead of Nick Scourton and Shamar Stewart, but still outperformed, Stewart statistically the year before in a rotational role. I think there's questions that people had, but it's like when you watch the tape, he moves different, and it's okay. It's okay to get excited about these guys, AC. As Bengals fans, we don't want to, but I feel like this guy, he's different. He's special. We're allowed to get excited about it. The Bengals went outside their norm to get a player like
and
this.
He's different from Stewart, who they drafted in the first round last year, and not only different in terms of build and skill set and all that kind of stuff, he's different because he played through the OTAs without a contract, right? He showed up in training camp day one, and he has also been flashing from basically minute one, right? Like Stewart was like, oh, he's a holdout and all this kind of stuff. It's just a different thing. I'm not saying this to say that Stewart is going to be a bust or anything like that. And I hope he recovers from that injury and comes back soon. But what I'm saying is, like, it's just he has been dialed in minute one, and he has been as advertised with the snaps he has been given in training camp from the get-go. That's what I like about him.
Well, my daughter, I said, are you home? And then she said, why, you miss me? And I said, can you grab my some more beer and the computer charger and bring it down to the garage?
Oh, I mean, I don't want to take you away from your daughter, my friend.
No. She said, oh, that's so embarrassing, but yeah. Hilarious.
Yeah. I love the Miller Lite comparison, though. I same college. I hate to do that, but
yeah, right. You don't want a helmet scout, but when a guy moves there, hey, it's just you look good in that uniform like that too. You move like that. It's easy to
similar production.
Yeah,
right. Like similar production in college. I don't know. I just see a little bit of that. I don't want to jump the shark, but I see that.
Yeah, we got a lot of talk of, Landon Robinson as well. our guy Ryan Sparks, who interviewed him before I interviewed him. So shout out Ryan, Navy connection there as well. Haven't seen a lot in camp from him. Now he was running with the twos at one point this week. Haven't seen much of Chris Jenkins. He has a huge chance to push for a roster spot, I feel like, during these preseason games. That's where he can really shine. We might see him get a sack, 2 sacks on Thursday and be like, oh, yeah, he's making it. He's just one of those guys. So what are your thoughts on him? And then the D-line in general, especially with Shamar Stewart, possibly starting out missing a game or two.
So Stewart's, I mean, I think to think that Stewart's gonna start week 1 or be in the lineup week 1, as of this point, it seems like, I don't know. But you know what, dude? Like, the Bengals invested heavily in that defensive line, particularly this offseason, and it's paying off. And we know in training camp and everything, like, oh, offense is behind. Like, we've heard that so many times, but it feels differently. It feels you can credit Dexter Lawrence, you can credit Jonathan Allen, you can credit all these guys, but it just feels like this defense has confidence, it has swagger. It is making big plays. Brian Cook had a pick 6 the other day, and it just feels different on that side of the ball. And I know you, me, and Ice have talked about, like, oh, are they a top 10 unit? I don't think so. But if you can make a significant jump, not necessarily to top 10 upon all kinds of different metrics, if you can make a significant jump across the board and just be solid, I think that is just a big thing. And the offense is frustrated, dude. Like, Dalton Reisner, Ted Karras, we saw the thing with Orlando Brown and Cassius Howell. Like, they're like, dude, Dexter Lawrence is a difference. He is a difference.
But I feel like so is Jonathan Allen, so is Hal, so Maffei's been
Brian Cook. I think is a big difference.
Oh, for sure.
All those
on
guys,
the back end,
yeah. I think all those guys, but I think Brian Cook is a big difference as well. Just, I mean, dude, just the deal. I'm sure you saw. I can't remember who it was in the Cincinnati media, but Brian Cook's talking to the media, and Jamar Chase is chirping in the background, and Brian Cook's chirping back, and it's that, like, that mentality.
Yeah, I did an article and made sure I put that in there. I had Cook's interception, but then I had the trash talking too. Like, Jungle, I was like,
it's a stupid little thing. It's a stupid little thing, but it's a big
swagger.
thing. Yep.
Like, it matters. The defense hasn't been able to have that, and they're so used to the offense in post games going, man, if we could just get one stop here, we're carrying the day. And now it's like, now we obviously have to see it during live bullets, and defense has got the better, and looked better the last couple of years in training camp. I get all that. But you never had Dexter Lawrence. You never had the depth of the defensive line that you have now. There is a reason to be legitimately confident about what this defense can do.
And it's not even like, hey, Dexter Lawrence put his big arm up and deflected a pass, or it's him eating blockers, right? Like, him just taking on the center and a guard and being like, okay, well, he may be out of the play, but Jonathan Allen gets to him. Cassius Howell gets to the quarterback, and it's not even a sack. It's just a disrupt. So when you look at the play from Thursday's
I'll be right back
practice,
in 1 second. I have to.
All right. I got to go solo on your show? Holy crap.
Yes. I can put you on a bigger screen, but I'll just keep it like
no, don't. I got an ugly mug. Don't do it. But if you look at the play from Thursday's practice, where Cassius Howell really beat Orlando Brown Jr., you can debate about, like, he got tripped or whatever it is. that was a long ball to T. Higgins, and Joe Burrow was not necessarily like hit or anything like that, but he was pressured. And that's where he threw a long ball up, and it was an incomplete pass to T. Higgins. So you can also debate about, did he drop it? Was he out of bounds? How errant was the throw? But these are the things that you are hoping that the influx of talent on defense that the Bengals have done, not only in the draft, but also free agency. These are the things that you're like, hey, okay, instead of not getting pressure, we got a little bit of pressure, and it's a third down conversion that didn't get converted. It is a drive extending play that did not get made. Best case scenario is also, pressure, etc. And it turned into a sack, a turnover, a sack fumble, any of that stuff. So, I don't know. I just look at the guys that they brought in, and while I saw it from like a holistic approach, like, oh, okay, well, you got a pass rushing defensive end, you got the big guy in the middle, and you can kind of
that's rude, Antoine. That's rude.
Hey, Antoine and I watched in my neck of the woods. Antoine and I watched the Fumble in the Jungle with Sam Hubbard. Antoine and I did on TV. Yeah.
So he's hanging out. You guys are hanging out.
Show my tit. I don't have TTs. I've got pecs. I mean,
why you? I have titties, but you ain't never going to see them, Crip. You got to pay for that.
I guess, Dale, what I was saying while you were, I don't know, pooping.
I had to plug the charger in. My daughter went to our local Soda County Fair with her grandma, so she was telling me they rode a ride.
There you go. There you go. I guess for me, instead of being like, oh, you got to pass, instead of being like, oh, pass rushing defensive end, big guy here, and this guy, I kind of see now a little bit like, no, this guy, Aboye Mafe goes well with the Jonathan Allen. I guess instead of being like individualistic with the acquisitions, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this guy can rush the pass. I can see packages. I can see how guys like interact well with each other to make a defense effective, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's Al Golden's vision. I feel like we're starting to see where he wants to be multiple. He wants to have different body types, and we were surprised with the Cassius Howell pick just because Al Golden can play.
It's not their guy. That the Bengals have never wanted that guy, right?
Well, we're used to Duke Tobin still calling the shots to where even if Al Golden wants that, they're not going to do it. But I think they're like, no, this isn't working over and over again to get this same type. Let's go ahead and let's bring in. We should have maybe known when they brought in Mafe that maybe they were thinking a little different. But Howell is so much different even than Mafe.
Yeah, 100%. Because Mafe is more, I mean, he'll play in space, and I think Howell will as well. But Mafe is that square guy, right? Like his shoulders are out to here. I got big shoulders, but his shoulders.
Yeah, I never seen him drop in coverage in the games I watched either for Seattle last year. I know he didn't play a ton of snaps, but I'm like, I just haven't seen him do it. I saw Howell drop and look comfortable at Texas A&M, so it's more of a projection of just, hey, you're a good athlete. I feel like with Mafe.
Who are you projecting to have like? I mean, I think Dexter Lawrence is the easy answer. But aside from him, like if you're talking about Mafe, if you're talking about Howell, if you're talking about Stewart, if you're talking about Jonathan Allen, if you're like, who do you think up front is going to be like a guy where you're like, oh, that guy, that was either a money draft pick, money free agent? Like, who are you saying given this defense? Because I know, a bit about football. I know a bit about schemes and all that stuff. I think you are well more versed than I am, especially when it comes to draft picks and all that stuff. Who are you saying like, oh, this is the guy that they needed?
I mean, I think Hal with running this more of a 3-4 because I think he can drop more, but I also think it was going to be really good, and I think it still will be, but I do wonder how he comes off this injury, Shamar Stewart, because I think he could be your base 3-4, end, because he looked good when they kicked him inside. So you're asking him to play that role of almost a defensive tackle, but also, hey, you're still a 3-4 guy, and you're going to get a little more pressure because we're going to have 5 guys at the line, maybe 1 drops. I think it set up well for Shamar Stewart in his second season. We'll see how long he's out with this hyperextension. That looked awful, by the way.
Oh, if that happened to me, I'd be out 18 weeks. You know what I mean?
Indefinitely. Out indefinitely.
God. And I don't like to be that guy, but I did see it and I go, well, look, I don't know, but it did look like from what I have seen on injuries. I've never, thankfully, experienced a hyperextension, but I felt like, okay, I know everybody's doom and gloom, but I did feel like that is a classic hyperextension. I just didn't know about the ligaments, right? Like
Right. I think you never know until they get the scans when it's like that, right?
Yeah.
It's something tear in there.
I loved what and you pinned it, Crypt Keeper. I that's a guy I don't, again, this time of year when
we're not even talking him, we're talking Mafe, Howe, Lawrence, Allen.
No, but this time of year when names aren't mentioned, like, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I don't really know.
I think he's splashed. I think he's splashed, and I was for giving him the 5th-year option because I thought he played his best football by far last season, given an opportunity. And we're talking about all these other guys. Guess what that does? That makes his job easier. And B.J. Hill hasn't even practiced yet. B.J. Hill going back into a role of a rotation with Jonathan Allen and some of these guys, depending if they go 4-3, 3-4. The depth on the defensive line has me really excited for the defense because I think that helps your linebackers, it helps your secondary, it helps everybody.
John and I talked about this, and it kind of depends on how you look at it, but BJ Hill, especially when he is in a rotation and not, the guy taking 500, 600 snaps or whatever, but BJ Hill, when he's, 300, 400 snaps, his crazy turnovers, impact per play, etc., goes way up. Right, like you'll see him, the Minnesota game from a couple of years ago where he had that crazy, I guess it was an interception, but it was kind of, and I understand that where you're like, well, if you have less snaps, but on the same token, he is a guy that when he has more snaps, he gets worn down, especially at this point in his career. And I think with him rotating in with Jonathan Allen, Dexter Lawrence, McKinley Jackson, Chris Jenkins, etc., his ability, because this is who he has been with the Bengals, his ability to have a high impact play per snap has been on display more when he's a rotational, albeit a heavy rotational guy, right? Like, his ability to make big plays skyrockets when he's more about 300, 400 snaps a year instead of 500, 600 snaps per year.
Well, he also was one of the highest double team players in the NFL. That's not going to happen when he's in there with Dexter Lawrence.
It will never happen.
Yeah.
It will. If he is lined up to Dexter Lawrence, it will never happen that BJ Hill will be double teamed. It will never happen.
Let's just say you got 5 guys at the line because you're 3-4. You got Dexter, and we'll say BJ and Jonathan if they go kind of base or defense, and then you got Mafe and Howe, and one of those guys may drop. One of the least guys you're worried about on that line of Mafe, Howe, Dexter Lawrence, and Jonathan Allen is BJ Hill.
Yep.
And he's a good player in his own right, so he can feast. And I think that's the vision that I'm seeing with this line. And I know BJ's out right now, but it's like, man, if that's your guy you're not worried about, if you're an offensive line, he's going to eat, let's say 5.5 sacks for a defensive tackle. That'd be a fantastic.
That's solid. That's really good. And this is, again, shades to DJ Reader, Larry O, and BJ Hill in 2021 when they would do different things and, depending on the situation and the package and everything. But that's what the Bengals are trying to recreate. And I think they've done so not only identically, but potentially even better. When you have a Dexter Lawrence in there, I mean, if DJ Reader was your run stopper, he gave you the very occasional pass rush, right? Like, let's just say Dexter Lawrence is going to kind of do that role, and then you kind of mix in Jonathan Allen and BJ Hill. I don't know, man. And I look at that and I go, if all of those guys stay healthy, that is a fantastic rotation up there.
Yeah. We have not even mentioned TJ Slayton. Like, the fact that TJ Slayton was the starter last year, and I thought played solid, like a role that we needed because we had BJ Hill and Sheldon Rankins. And it's like, no, neither of them are your nose tackle type guys.
Sheldon Rankins, he who shall not be named, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, God.
Ronald says, I'm worried about Orlando Brown Jr. getting slower. There was shades of worry last year. And, like, PFF-wise, he had one of his worst seasons. Pressures given up, sacks allowed. Sacks allowed, I think, was the worst of his career. I was shocked they gave him, like, a 3-year dip. But I'm also with you, Antoine. He's a gamer. He'll show up. If he's an average offensive tackle, and I think that's hard to find in the NFL. I do think we're talking, hey, you got to figure out in the future, you need to have something there. But I do think that he'll get you through this season and can play at a high level still. So, are you worried about Orlando?
A little, but I'm worried about him. Dale, I know you know, but because you are just slightly younger than I am, my friend. Whitworth was amazing, right? And Andrew Whitworth was an amazing left tackle for the Cincinnati Bengals. Do you remember what he struggled with or who he struggled with? It was Elvis Dumerville.
Yeah, speed small. Yeah.
Speed small, get up under the pads, right? Or get around you. And that's what Cassius Howell unfortunately exposed a little bit. When you're that big, and Whitworth can move, OBJ can move, but when it's and I think it's also a benefit to the Bengals to have that guy in their pass rushing arsenal. But when you have those big guys, 6'8", 240 or 340, whatever it is, the guys that are 6'2", 250, right? Like, they can find a way to beat you, whether it's speed, whether it's getting under. And so that worries me a little bit, but we have to look at the Bengals schedule and say, okay, how many of those kinds of rushers are on the Bengals schedule? all of that being said, I think you and I know continuity on the offensive line is crucial. I mean, absolutely crucial. The Bengals have the most solid and stable. Yeah, the Bengals have the most solid and stable offensive line that they've had in Burrow's tenure. Whatever you think about OBJ, and I don't know. I think it is an imperfect offensive line, but I think it is by far the best offensive line he has been behind in his tenure with the Bengals.
Yeah, Reuben Bain that first game is going to be interesting for both. But I think OBJ and Mims can handle a guy like Bain. You know, honestly, if they were going against Cassius Howe, I think they'd have a tougher time. And I'm not taking anything away from Bain. I think he's a more complete defensive end than Howe, especially at this point, which is why he went 15th overall and not in the second round. But I feel like he has the body type and maybe not the explosiveness that I think Brown could handle him a little better.
I think Brown is a guy that's like, okay, you're pretty big, you're 6'4", 6'5", like I can use my arms and all that kind of stuff. Those little guys that get in there, like if they can negate that some way, right? Like if they can either get in or go around, that's trouble. But I do think also sometimes, and this is what you kind of saw from that rep with Cassius Howell and OBJ, where he tried to hug him almost, right? Like it's almost like, look, not necessarily a hold, but if you're gonna get under me, get around me, whatever it is, I can kind of smother you. And so I think that's a little bit what the Bengals are hoping for in week one. But, and Dale, you know, also the Bucs, basically their two best players, Baker Mayfield and Vita Vea, they're a mess.
Shocking,
right?
We don't have this problem, right? For one.
Oh, it's so nice to not have it. It's so nice to not have it. So, you know,
I tossed the link out in the chat if anybody wants to come on and ask the legend AC.
The question. Legend. Oh my God,
You are a legend.
I'm not. I am dusty, rusty, and dusty. That's what I am. No, but I just that's a good question for you actually, because you watch a lot of film and you watch a lot of offensive tackle prospects. Like, what do you think the Bengals like mindset is of? We got to have these mammoth tackles, right? Like these guys that are 6'7", 6'8", 340, like, is it just to smother? Is it just to, I don't know.
It's to lose slowly to me. Like if you're going to lose, at
that's
least
a good answer. That's
slowly, because like that gives Burrow time to see it and move around in the pocket and do all these things. To still
that's actually
make
a fantastic answer,
because they have the size and the length that, you know, even if you can get a touch on this guy that's beating you with speed and is a smaller, quicker guy, I think it's like
get him out there. Get him out.
If you lose slowly, Burrow can still make a play. Whereas if you just get beat immediately, which I think was a problem with our interior offensive line and some of the D tackles, like a Dexter Lawrence when we played the Giants. You know, we were having more trouble on the interior with guys winning quickly, and that screws everything up for Burrow. So, and I think that's why you get a Fairchild and you bring back a Dalton Reisner. You have a veteran in Karras. I think that's almost more important. And then Mims is honestly on a projection to get so much money because we saw Darnell Wright from the Bears.
He's going to ascend to elite. I think he's going to ascend to elite. I think.
Yeah. And he looked so good last year. Like PFF grades were in the 60s. I don't care. 60s for the Bengals are good, number one, for an offensive lineman. But watching his tape, like there's not many guys that are his size that move the way he does. Mims was perfect for the Bengals, which is why, like, I know we're not talking draft, but Trevor Gooseby, I've had him circled since last year when I thought he might come out from Texas. I'm like 6'7", 325, and moves different. Yeah.
No, you're right, and I think he is ascending very well, and I think it was, I don't know if it was Trevor Sikkema or somebody that put out, tackle rankings, and he was up there. And again, we didn't talk about him a lot last year, right? Like that's a good thing when you don't talk about those guys. It's like, oh, Mims, he's fine. And when you're going up,
TJ Watt. Yeah,
exactly. Yep.
That was the big one that he was playing fantastic against Watt. And then like the Ravens, it's like, oh, well, they're not that. I'm like, I've clipped up 4 other games of this guy. Oh, here's your guy, man. He's ready to come in and watch Super Bowl.
What up?
Antoine!
What's up, man?
What's up, dude?
What's going on?
You miss ballpark pizza, my friend?
I don't really remember. I can't remember if it was good or not. I remember we had a good time. I can't remember the actual pizza or whatever. But
we went to the barbecue place before that. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I was good.
Yeah. How are you, buddy?
Yeah.
You're in here with the legendary Anthony Cosenza.
Oh yeah, I already
legendary.
know. Yeah, I already know.
Legendary.
He's the GOAT.
Good
God.
God.
He's the LeBron James of Bengals podcasting.
Yeah, but he ain't never switched teams like LeBron.
I'm the Vlade Divac, dude. That's what I am.
He's the Kobe Bryant. Because Kobe
No. Oh God.
The Michael Jordan. He's the Michael
Hope
Jordan.
not. What's up, bro?
You got a question for the legend AC to start with?
Question for him?
Yeah.
Let me see. You guys covered a lot already.
What about Bobo? I was going to ask about Bobo.
Do you feel the play action game? Are you concerned about the play action game? Do you feel like we're going to use it a lot more this year? And then, like I said, it's been getting blown up so far this year. But do you think it's going to be a big part of the offense going forward?
It's a good one. Remember a couple of years ago when Eric All was in, and they were able to just really do jumbo packages and all kinds of different stuff. And I don't know, it just hasn't been the same. And I don't know, man. And now they have intentionally tried to install that stuff, right? Like early part of camp, and it has been awful, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I just part of me really wants them to do that and to be diverse and all kinds of different stuff just to kind of keep defenses on their heels. But I just don't think Burrow likes it. I really don't. I don't.
He likes to see what's in front of him.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think as much as we would like to be like, hey, let's line 2 tight ends and a fullback and all that kind of stuff. Like, I just don't think that's how he operates. And I think they have tried to install that. I think I don't want to say force it, but I think they've tried to do some things that it's like, hey, does this and it just, he doesn't look comfortable in those situations, in those formations. To me,
he hates the play action because it puts his back to what's in front of
but
him.
I would love it. Like, to me, I would love that. Like, play action and go deep. I would love it. I just don't think he likes it. And likes it is, doesn't do well in it or whatever you want to call it. I don't. Unfortunately, I don't think this offense operates well in that. And I would love to get Chase Brown's take on this, because he was a guy, he would be a guy, either a swing pass or whatever. He would be a beneficiary of this. And I don't know. It looks sloppy. It looks predictable when they go into that formation and or under center. Like it just looks
well,
like
the naked bootlegs you need to get rid of.
It's ugly. It's ugly. It's ugly.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, man. And when when Flacco took over, you saw more of that. You saw his 5-7 step drop and big passes and all that kind of stuff. But they were operating a little bit more all like an all-around offense. And it just doesn't really seem like that with Burrow. So to me, I just don't think it's ever going to really be a thing for them. I don't know. That's just me.
I think they'll continue to try, and this is the time to try it in camp because Burrow's so comfortable in.
You have to do it now. Yeah.
You gotta do it now.
But it's for Chase Brown. It's for the run game. It's what Dan Pitcher is, and the efficiency numbers for Chase Brown and basically any other running back. It's going to be better under center, right? Your linemen are going to like that more. So that's why you do it. But I agree. I think if it's not working once regular season starts, one series in, Burrow's going to say, scratch that idea for this whole game plan. We're going to what I do.
But that's also why some of the draws to Pirine, to Brown, that's why they're like, oh, wow, that was a 10-yard gain. No, that extended the sticks on a 3rd and long that none of us expected them to convert. That's why they're able to do that. I don't. To me, I prefer balance, right? Like I just don't think. I think Joe is, for better for worse, I think he's a point guard. I think he likes to pick and choose his things. And that's also why you have a versatile guy. When he began his career, they had a versatile guy in Giovanni Bernard, and then that's why they've got a Chase Brown, because then you can go, okay, we've got the occasional handoff, but this guy can also line up in the slot. This guy can also go out for a swing pass. I feel like, again, when they're doing the under center stuff, it feels like a square peg in a round hole. I feel like they're trying to do stuff, they're forcing stuff, and it's just and a lot of people can blame the offensive line or whatever. I just feel like it just doesn't work with Joe Burrow as your quarterback. I that's just what I feel. I don't know, and it's kind of proven that.
Fuzzy's with you with the super chat. If you told the other teams' defensive coaches they would run the ball I would say 40% of the time, not even 60.
Yep.
But the other team's defensive coaches would dab each other up and do the grit.
I think they need to stick with it for a little bit. Like I said, just for training camp, preseason. I even heard Tom Brady say, if you're gonna suck, it's the time to do it in training camp. Burrow's been throwing been looking bad, throwing some interceptions, but I'm not worried about it in training camp because you're trying out different stuff. If they want to actually go out there and run some plays that they want to score, they can do it. But he's trying other things. But I hope they continue with that. I'm tired of seeing like a 4th and 1 or 3rd and inches and you're in the shotgun all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we talked about that since Ken. We talked about how, we said there was a second angle. And he got tripped up with B-Rod. But no, it's how is a special talent. Do you have any thoughts on that, Tone?
Cassius, man, he looks good. I don't really watch a whole lot of college football, so what I've seen of him is just a lot of
not even in Texas. Come on, man.
Highlights. No, I'm not big. I watch like big games. I watch like, Alabama versus Georgia and stuff like that. Otherwise, I don't watch a whole lot of college football. But no, man, he definitely looks the part, and even in his interviews, them talking to him, he has that confidence and swagger about him. But yeah, was surprised at the power. Like it's all the stuff I've seen of him. You know, he's quick, fast, has that ghost move, but that power he showed, if he has that in the game, it's gonna be a game changer. But yeah, I think he's gonna slowly creep up into the starting role. I think the first couple of weeks, I think he'll be kind of thrown in there, you know, as a second team. But I think he's gonna show his tricks, all the stuff he has pretty early on, and he's gonna get a lot more reps as the season goes on.
So Dax Hill's been a little banged up during camp. Sicario Davis, to me, has flashed. DJ Ivy's been in there. Josh Newton seems on the outs. He's probably not in a roster spot.
Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts on Sicario Davis, the cornerback room? Is there a guy you would potentially bring in on cuts, or do you think this is what we have?
But first, well, Anthony was trying to say something after you cut him off after I talked about Cash. What were you trying to say, Anthony? Or is he gone?
He said,
okay.
I'm here. I'm here. You put me on the spot. No, in terms of Cassius Howell, I see him not necessarily this year, but a year or two down the road where the Bengals are like, this guy can't be off the field. Like I see him. I think Dexter Lawrence is getting to the end of his career, but he's a spark plug guy. I think Howell, again, I don't expect Howell to be like, 17 and a half sacks, 20 sacks like Trey Hendrickson. I just see him being kind of a critical, just active guy on that defense that I think the team will say, we can't get him off the field. As far as the question about cornerback, there was a report out that Josh Newton is kind of falling down the pecking order a little bit. So I can see, again, I don't see Sicario Davis being like, okay, that's the outside boundary corner. I could see him being a God, who was the guy a couple of years ago? I can't remember.
Yeah,
the big Seattle.
I know you're talking about. Damn, I forgot his name too.
Trey Flowers.
Yeah.
Thank you. God, Trey.
Yeah,
I'm
you
sorry.
got that same size.
Sorry, Trey. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got that same size. Yeah.
But it's a slot guy. It's a niche guy. It's like, hey, there's a big guy here. Dale, you and I talked about this when they drafted him. The Pittsburgh Steelers have DK Metcalf and Michael Pittman. Those guys are 6'4", 6'5". You need to have big guys in this division to be able to compete. I'm not saying Sicario Davis is going to be like an immediate starter, but you need to have a guy that has that length, the arm length, the height to be able to, like Aaron Rodgers right now. Aaron Rodgers is check down, chuck it up. And so if you're going to beat the Steelers at least once, you got to have a defensive back, a cornerback that can defend those guys with the height, length, speed. And I think Sicario Davis does that. Unfortunately, Dale, you can speak to this better than I can, but Sicario Davis's college film is inconsistent. To say the least, right? Like he's got all the tools. He's got all the things that the Seattle Seahawks traditionally like, but it's not consistently there.
Yeah, and I think that preseason will help us see if he's really refined his game or not. Because it's like in camp, you get to see the one or two highlights where he's, covering these guys. He's blanketing T. Higgins down the field. He's, on Colby Young. And it's like, all right, what are you doing play in, play out, Because that's how it was at Arizona in 2024 and then last year at Washington. So for me, it's like consistency, and he's a big guy to watch in preseason. Colby Young on the other side of the ball. Is there anybody else, Tone, that you're excited to watch on Thursday? Like for me, it's Landon Robinson, I think, can have a big showing. Could be an undrafted guy, anybody that maybe has a chance to make the roster.
Yeah, I actually have my eyes on an undrafted guy. But first, Sicario, from what I was hearing, he So it sounds like he's been doing good against the bigger receivers, like you said, Kobe Young and T. Higgins, like guys his size. But I did hear Paul Dehner talk about Charlie Jones been cooking them. So it seems like he
David
might,
said that too.
yeah, he might struggle with the more shiftier, smaller guys. So I think if he's on a bigger guy or a tight end, he might do fine. But
again, sorry to interrupt, Tone. But again, when you're bigger, and it's the same with OBJ, when you're bigger, those smaller, shiftier players, it's very you struggle with. Yeah.
And even though he's a 4.4 speed guy, it's like it's the hip fluidity. It's
the shiftiness.
Direction.
Yep.
You got 4.4 speed, but it's how he's gonna have to play catch up because he's gonna be behind because he shifts so slower. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yep.
But as far as Thursday, just really just seeing. I don't know if Cash is gonna play with the ones or not. Probably not. But him, I do. Not saying I'm happy Dax is out, but he is out. So I'm happy to see Takaro a little bit more. We don't really need to see Dax or DJ for that matter, really either. But but as far as undrafted, I do feel like he'll make the team is Gentry, the linebacker. I know
AC loves to hear that.
Yeah. I like USC too. So I know he's a smaller, bigger, thinner guy. He doesn't fit the prototypical linebacker role, but he did look good at USC. So I haven't heard too much about him in camp, but him, I'm looking forward to him and Landon as well to see what they can do Thursday.
Yeah, one of the biggest ones for me is running back. I feel like running back can never really show what they can do until like preseason games, because in camp you're not doing live tackling, so you don't know about a guy's contact balance and this, that, and the other. You're not really bowling people over. You're not going that hard as a running back. You're kind of taking what's there that's blocked for you. So.
Well, and who can be the next P. Ryan, right? Like, who can be the guy that can pass block? Who can be the guy that can, be that little third and 2 outlet? Like, who can be that? But also, I think a lot of us like Taj Brooks, but
I like them. I like them.
That's where I was going with the running backs. AC is like Brooks needs to play a lot in preseason.
I think so too.
Along with the guys behind him, the Gary Brightwells, the Kendall Miltons, the undrafted guys, Kentrell Bullock, the Jamal Haynes. Jamal Haynes is probably the one I'm looking at most. Undrafted guy out of Georgia Tech, because he was a converted receiver. And it's like, in this offense, that could be a weapon. And you're hearing nothing about these guys in camp.
Samaje Perine should play like 5
he doesn't need to play. He don't need to play. Him and Brown really don't need to play. Let everybody else play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and since the kid says Brooks is slow, I agree with that. He
looked
slow.
like it last year.
I heard he slimmed down. So I want to see. I need to see you slim down and making guys miss and look.
Yeah, he did look a little thicker last season, but I want to see. Yeah, I want to see him and the other running backs because we may not sign Brown back, so we need to really at least see during this preseason if we have something back there behind him.
Because if not, you're like somebody mentioned Jaden Ball from Florida. Yes, like you're at least bringing in a mid-round guy, but
you might
consider, at pick 32, you might consider Jaden Ball next draft.
Oh yeah.
We're winning the Super Bowl.
There's 2 position groups that always show up. Well, for the most part, in preseason, it's running back because they get a ton of carries and a ton of swing passes and all that kind of stuff, but also wide receiver. And if you look back at the Bengals' history in general, whether it's Zach Taylor or not, the wide receivers have made their way onto the Bengals' final roster because of their preseason performance. Last year was Mitchell Tinsley. I am very curious to see how the Bengals use him in the preseason, because if they don't use him a lot, that probably says Tinsley's got a spot, right?
Yeah.
Like let's find if they use him a lot and or whatever he does, it's still a tryout for him, more or less. So to me, Mitchell Tinsley, and I know we all love like the spectacular catches and all kinds of stuff. I'm just very curious to see how the Bengals utilize him in the preseason, because I think that's going to be telling as to what his 2026 roster spot is.
Yeah, I agree, because you got Dante Myers, who's looked good in preseason or training camp from all accounts. And then Noah Thomas had that spectacular catch, but it's also like when you're 6'5" and
you got Colby Young,
good movement.
Yeah.
Colby Young. Yeah. So wide receiver.
Well, he's a lock. I'm just saying, like, for me, because Mitchell Tinsley was one of the boundary guys, right?
Yeah.
And he's not huge.
Yeah.
But to me, when you drafted a Colby Young, and you've got Noah Thomas, you got Yoshi that you're trying to figure out where he best fits. To me, like, if Tinsley, I don't want to say like if Tinsley gets a lot of time, that means he's on the roster bubble necessarily, but if they don't give him a lot of time, to me that tells me like, hey, this guy's pretty safe, right?
Right. Yeah, I just honestly, I just hope. I mean, it's been.
Anybody ever called you Big Chocolate Thunder, Tone?
What is it called? Big Chocolate.
On T's YouTube channel, we went to the mall. An old lady called him Big Chocolate Thunder.
No, Chocolate Thunder. No. What I was saying. What the hell are we talking about?
Got you off your game.
Wide receivers, Mitchell Tinsley.
Yeah. So,
unfortunately, Charlie Jones will probably be the returner. I'm a Keyshawn Williams guy, but
yeah. I just hope. I mean, Yoshi's had his time. He's had time to show what he can do. This is his fourth year. I hope Colby Young, or if it is Tinsley, is someone take over that number 3 position, make it look better. But
that's another one in preseason. I can see him on the sideline in his gear after one series.
It's actually insane,
and he shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's actually insane.
Young or
go ahead,
Yoshi.
Yeah, it's his 4th year. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, he's a cool dude. Good looking guy, but I mean, I don't know.
but last year, was he not on the sideline along with,
Yeah, he was.
He and Jamar just chilling after like the first series, and it's like, why is he locked into like
they got too much confidence. Coaches got too much confidence in them. I don't know what it is. I don't know. But I hope. I mean, Young's gonna have to go out there and just take it. Really. I mean, there's the coaches gonna have to see it out there. So he's gonna have to play great out there for the preseason. I think. Like that number 86 for the Cardinals last night. He gonna we got our own number 86. It's gonna take over. But yeah, the Cardinals number 86 last night was balling.
Yeah, he got hit too.
Yeah, but he held on.
I said, what the hell? That Hall of Fame game. Best Hall of Fame game I've ever.
Hey, that was good. At first, I was like, "This Panthers Cardinals is gonna be trashed in them up," but yeah, it's actually really good. Carson Beck looked awesome out there, and the other guy, King for the Panthers.
Yeah,
Kenny Pickett didn't look good, but
yeah, Kenny Pickett,
he's done.
King could definitely take that backup spot.
He's done. Did you watch the game, Anthony? Hall of Fame game?
I didn't. Okay. I had some other things going on.
This guy don't even like football.
What's an A and B conversation you can see your way at, Anthony?
Credibility gone.
Yeah. But no, it was a good game last night. But yeah, number three wide receiver position, it could be huge if someone could take over that position and take the load off.
I definitely think Colby Young has the best chance. And I mean, I'm not a Chuck Sizzle guy as far because he's just hurt every year. That's why I say Keyshawn Williams for me. It was Isaiah Williams last year, I'm just like, because you can't rely on him to go a full season. But I feel like with the number 3 receiver spot, Colby Young has a chance at some point during the season to supplant Yoshi.
He won't play slot, right?
14% drop rate.
He won't play slot though, right? They're gonna have to put Jamar there or something, right?
He can do. He's moved around both, and if you look at Yoshi's body type, Yoshi doesn't have this like smaller
yeah.
slot, you know, and
Yeah.
I think they like that because, like, we can move him outside or inside, move things around, put Jamar in the slot.
Yeah.
And I think Colby Young can do the same thing. Hey, you could put him in the slot, but you could also now put him outside.
Mhm.
I feel like that's where he can make his hay as far as playing time over Yoshi.
It's weird. It's weird to me because I think, you know, a lot of people are like, okay, Colby Young versus Yoshi. But I really predict that Colby Young will probably explode in the preseason
Me
in
too.
one way or the other.
Yeah.
But I'm really interested because this is what has been Yoshi's bread and butter in the NFL. I'm really interested
red
to
zone.
see. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good in the red zone.
I'm really interested to see if Colby Young is a Chris Henry Jr., where he can do a little bit of everything, especially stretch the field.
Right.
Or if he can only stretch the field and not do red zone stuff, which I think Yoshi has excelled at in his career. So I'm again. I think preseasons, it's hard because I think they're going to try and run the ball a lot. They're going to do, you know, backup quarterbacks are going to do safe things where they're not trying to throw into turnovers and all that kind of stuff. But I think they're going to try and stretch the field with Colby Young. I'm just very interested to see again, within the red zone, like, okay, who's out there, where, and who gets targeted.
Well, he's 6'4". I'm pretty sure he probably do some damage in the red zone though.
I do too. But it again, are we talking about kind of a one-trick pony or not?
Yeah.
You know
right.
what I mean?
Do you have to throw him a fade every time?
Right.
You know, can you go over the middle and you know, shake a guy?
A crosser.
Right.
Yep.
Route run. There's route running in general. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, we're almost 3 hours in. Hell of a show.
Y'all been on this long. That's crazy. I didn't know y'all was up on this long before I got on.
Yeah, we started at 3:30. Man, AC, I appreciate you hopping in. Tone, I appreciate you hopping in.
You probably got to go. Antoine, you're the man, dude.
Yeah, man, for sure. Whenever I come back down there to work again, I'll hit you up. But
hit me up.
Hey, what games you going to this year, Anthony?
I'm thinking about Houston.
Hey, I live in Houston, so if you come down,
I know you do. I know you do.
Let me know. Yeah, let me know.
It's undetermined, but I am.
What them titty bars like? They got good titty bars down there.
I haven't been here. Like usually when I go, like I travel out somewhere, I'll go to like a
I ain't never been to a titty bar, gentleman's club, whatever.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
You guys are married, but yeah, I'm not married, so.
No, you're the man, Antoine. I'm trying to get out also to Cincinnati, whether it's the Tampa game, that's looking unlikely, but maybe later in Cincinnati.
Yeah, let me know. Cause I went to one game I go to the Jets game last year in Cincinnati. It was the first time I've been there in a while.
Oh, that's a rough one.
I mean, it was terrible. I was so mad, but we had a good time though. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get back out to Cincy too. But yeah, let me know, Anthony, which one you plan on going to. I'm gonna try to get out there too. But yeah, you and Dale too. If you want to come down to Houston, man, to the Houston game, let me know.
Yeah, let me know about them titty bars.
Oh my God!
I'll think about it.
Oh, man.
Antoine, you're the man, dude. Good reconnecting.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. All right, man. I'll talk to y'all.
See you, bro. All right, AC, plug some stuff, and then we're going.
I got nothing. I got nothing to plug. You are 3 hours in, dude. I have never done a 3-hour show. A 3-hour tour. 3-hour tour. Never done it, but you were the man, dude. I appreciated hanging out with you. I got
check out AC stuff and Thinkasense, the Godfather, the GOAT, man.
Hey, love you, brother.
Everything. All right, love you too, man. All right, man. Appreciate y'all that tuned in, stuck through the 3 hours. I'm sorry, Crip. I gotta go after 3 hours, brother. But it was fun, man. It's a Friday. It's a fun Friday. But yeah, we got preseason football Thursday, and then Friday we'll have a show next week. Appreciate y'all.